Mostly cloudy, 77 degrees at 3:02. I'm Laura Oakes. Flanked by transportation, labor, and other state officials, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has signed a major bonding bill to fund $1.2 billion worth of road and public infrastructure projects. President of the Minnesota Building and Construction Trades Council, Dan McConnell, says being able to rely on state funding each year provides stability and predictability for hardworking families.
Contractors make hiring decisions based on future work. Apprentices commit to years to learning the trade because they believe opportunities will be there in the future. Workers buy homes, raise families, and build their lives around the expectation the next job will be there when the current one has been finished.
The Ramsey County Attorney's Office has charged a 26-year-old man in connection to a deadly downtown shooting on April 30th. Michael Garland is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 27-year-old Adarius Gleese of St. Paul. Gleese was in a relationship with a woman who had a child with Garland. Second-degree murder charges also filed today against 24-year-old Omar Castro in the stabbing of Gabriel Perez, whose body was found Memorial Day between some train tracks in St. Paul. Castro told investigators he was defending himself after Perez made unwanted physical sexual advances toward him. Governor Tim Walz says the process of returning an ICE agent arrested in Texas in connection with the shooting of a Venezuelan man in North Minneapolis this winter is underway. Walz says he made a formal request to Governor Greg Abbott earlier this week to have Christian Castro sent back to the Twin Cities to face assault charges. It is a busy weekend for music, art fairs, and a St. Paul staple.
With 250,000 people expected to attend this one-day event, it begs the question, why is Grand Old Day so grand? Co-chair Elizabeth Emerson George.
I do really think it's just that sense of community. There's a little bit of something for everyone along the avenue, whether it's music, whether it's kids' bouncy houses, or of course the ever popular wiener dog races. There just to be something for everyone and a chance to explore all that St. Paul has to offer.
Take note, there will be something new this year.
One thing that I think will bring even more joy this year, right here near Red Balloon, we will have neighborly notes. This is a new addition to Grand Old Day where neighbors can stop, write a love note to another neighbor, and something that will then be giving back to the community all year long.
And who doesn't like receiving a love letter? Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Members of the New Power Generation and the Revolution come together tonight at the Armory in Minneapolis for the Prince Celebration of Life 10th Anniversary Concert. Morris Hayes was a longtime member of NPG and tells Tom Hauser on the WCCO Morning News that picking music for an event like this was difficult.
Prince is prolific, and that's one of the greatest things about him. He just so many songs, so many. He used to tell me, Morris, I got so many hits, but so little time. And so, I said, yeah, man. But that's what it was.
The Prince celebration continues all weekend, wrapping up on Sunday. WCCO News Time is 3:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash working on North 35 East, midway past Highway 13. The activity off to the right side. Traffic slows as you come up from Highway 13 toward the scene of the wreck. If you're going to be traveling West 94, some slowing past 494 up in Maple Grove. 494 eastbound, watching some slowing there is coming from the Bush Lake Roads over to Cedar Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
You sit on your deck and you're sick of looking at your crappy siding. Type JTR on your computer for roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and more. JTR Roofing has you covered from the roof on down, serving the Twin Cities Metro. For a free estimate, visit jtrroofinginc.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And it is brought to you by JTR Roofing. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The rain and thunderstorms will be gone by midnight, leaving us partly cloudy with an overnight low of 64. Tomorrow looks like the nicer weekend day. Mostly sunny with a high of 87. Light wind, not humid. It does get humid on Sunday. The wind does pick up. It gets warmer, partly cloudy with a high near 89. Showers and thunderstorms possible late. That will spill into Monday.
Mostly cloudy right now, 77 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
News that leads to conversations. Conversations that matter. News Talk 830 WCCO. You're thinking about it. Jason's talking about it. There are no breaks on bold takes here. Buckle up. This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRUSHA.
I've asked Dan to create a new open for the show called I Told You So. Jason told you so. We're sort of starting with that today, talking about mail-in voting, talking about what's going on in California, and the absolute train wreck. It is a train wreck. I know some of you are going to disagree. I'd love to hear from you at 651-461-9226. It's drive time. It's Friday. It's Jason, and I'm glad I'm not California because today is Friday. The election was Tuesday, and they have millions of votes still to count. If anyone ever in Minnesota tries to expand mail-in voting, I say, hell no. And look at what's going on in California. Mail-in voting is the latest entry in what I believe has been this obsession in expanding access to voting, solving a problem that does not exist. We've been pretty good at having elections for 100, 200, 250 years. And because we are all so busy, we're so busy, somehow today people can't show up on election day. The data doesn't indicate any sort of massive change in the number of people voting based on all these crazy ways that we make it. So, you can come. We're going to mail you a ballot. You can mail it in. And California says as long as it's postmarked by election day, it's fine, which means they spend 2-3 weeks counting. It undermines trust in the voting system. Already we're in a scenario where people are so skeptical that our voting system is legit. Now, I will say, I think most of this skepticism about the voting system is a load of crap. I think the voting system is by and large fine. It's sore loser energy when people are complaining about, it's a problem. Is it? No, you didn't win. You didn't win. But I do think it's bad for democracy to spend multiple weeks counting. And so I have a proposal, and I want to know what you think about it. I would like to get rid of all mail-in voting. We have mail-in voting in Minnesota, but our mail-in voting, it has to be in by election day. By 8 p.m. on election day, it has to be at wherever you send it to. I would like to get rid of mail-in voting, get rid of early voting, move election day to Saturday, and say show up or shut up. 651-461-9226. If you don't care enough to show up, too bad. Now, I'm not that cold. I'm not just trolling you guys that much, although I will say that is what I really think. How did we ever do it before? Now, we used to have like legit absentee voting. So if you were sick or in a senior center and couldn't maybe, transport yourself to a polling place, we had a way for you to do it. But why is there such an obsession? Like, we have to expand access. You know what would actually get more people to vote? Candidates that don't suck. That would get more people to vote. That is what drives people to the ballot box. It is not. I just don't believe that it's that difficult for people to show up on election day. We have people who are volunteering, people who care so much about democracy, they set up shop all day in precincts all over Minnesota. And your lazy butt can't show up to vote? Larry and Marge are sitting down there to count your ballot, and you're like, I'm going to need a mail-in ballot. What's It's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And I don't understand the problem that we're trying to solve here. Texters at 651-461-9226. Lots of texts coming in. Jason, it's been a while since I've agreed with you. I mean, I think, could we analyze that for a minute? Has it really been that long? I feel like I'm dropping bombs of genius every day on this show. Shouldn't be that long for you to agree with me. Texter says only military or people on work trips should be able to vote, not in person. I think, yeah, for sure. If you're in the military, we can figure that out. We can figure that out. Jason, I agree. When I was young and first voted, you could be an absentee, but you had to have a really good reason. You had to go to the courthouse. In order to cast your ballot. I agree that more people should have access to voting, but it's ridiculous to give such a wide expanse because it gives so much more possibility for people to claim there's issues. I think that texter nails it for the 507 because our current system allows all of the BS peddlers to spread their nonsense conspiracies about the voting system. And do I like it that I feel like we have to tighten up the voting system in order to cut down on all of this nonsense? I don't love it. Although I do love feeling that I was right all along. It feels good. It feels so good. I know how you guys feel now. Because everyone who ever calls this show is 100% right. Let's do Tim in Brooklyn Park. Tim at 651-461-9226. What do you think of my idea, Tim? Move it to Saturday and cut out all of the other nonsense.
Shouldn't do anything to the mail-in voting system. There is little or no fraud involved. They've proven that over and over and over again. Don't touch the mail-in system. It works just fine.
What?
Just because Trump and the Republicans say that it's fraudulent, it's not. Shouldn't give in to the Republicans and Trump just because they don't like it, just because they think something's going on.
Why do we need it, Tim? Why do we need it? Why can't people just show up on election day?
People should have the option if they don't want to go in and vote in person. They should have the option to use it.
Why?
There's nothing wrong with it.
I just don't see why people should have the option.
Bad because it's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
Prove to me that it's good.
It should be an available option because there's nothing wrong with it. It's not fraudulent. There's nothing wrong with it. Keep it and leave it alone. Don't touch it.
All right, Tim, thank you. Gene is in Maplewood. Gene, Tim's not on board. He's not on board.
Well, I am 100% with Tim. Okay, people have choices. And when my mother was in the nursing home, they actually had them vote there,
right.
and which was wonderful.
I think that's good. I'm for that.
Okay, but what about I vote early, and I have the ability to vote early, so they don't have to. Because I vote early because in Minnesota in November, hey, we may have a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Gene,
I'll come pick you up. You're in Maplewood. You're not that far from me in St. Paul. On election day, I will run a bus and come pick up Gene.
Okay, well, the bottom line is I think it's a good choice to have these, and I agree with Tim. It's a problem that doesn't exist. Our Secretary of State has told us over and over again it's not a fraud. There's no problem. It's like a 0, not even a 1% issue.
What do you think about what's going on in California? I will concede, as someone who is not a fan of having early voting for 45 days or 60 days or whatever we do, I'm not a fan of all the mail-in voting. But I do like, if we're going to do it, I like how we do it in Minnesota, that you have to have the ballot in on election day, because I do think when it takes weeks to count the vote, it makes people uncertain. I just think it's bad.
Oh, I'm not sure what's going on in California. You mean it takes that long for that?
Yeah, they allow you to have your ballot postmarked on election day. So it
Oh,
doesn't
no,
have
no.
to be arrived. It doesn't have to
No.
be in.
No, that's wrong.
And
that's
they mail
wrong.
them out. So a huge percent of, so like if you lived in California and you were registered to vote, a ballot would show up at your home. So they mail it to you and then you mail it back. Unlike here where you have to go request a ballot, it's a little bit more work here and you have to get it in on time. I like that. At least we make you make a little bit of effort here,
Yes.
All right.
I know. We used to get absentee ballots for my mom and dad because they were at home, but they were elderly.
Yeah.
And I would get them, and they would fill it out. My mom knew who to fill out for in the nursing home. She was, sharp as a tack.
She knew.
Well, pretty much. She knew she was a Democrat, and she knew she wanted to vote.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't going to tell her who to vote for.
Thank you, Gene. 651-461-9226. I say cut out all the nonsense. Saturday, show up. I would even be amenable to keeping it on Tuesday and making it a holiday. Fine. But too much nonsense. We're solving problems that don't exist. Drive time back in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, let's talk about problems that do exist. And that problem is the real estate market in Minnesota and in western Wisconsin. It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl, who is just trying to make this process easier, less stressful. ChrisLindahl.com is where you can go to get the guaranteed cash offer. Have you seen the advertisements on buses and billboards with Chris standing with a couple of homeowners and a big red check? And I love these ads because it really brings home how personal this is and how life-changing this moment can be in getting a guaranteed cash offer, because it's not just about getting the money and getting it quickly, although that is part of the equation. It's about offloading the stress, the pressure, the drama, the uncertainty. You take all that risk, and right now there's risk. Interest rates are going up. Homes are sitting in the market longer and longer and taking price reduction after price reduction. You take that risk and you say, Chris Lindahl, here you go. Enjoy. You get certainty. You get a guaranteed cash offer. You get a big red check. It's pretty great. More and more people saying yes. Find out if it makes sense for you. ChrisLindahl.com is the website. Get yourself a big red check. Terms and conditions may apply.
Is life insurance still on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Chad back here with you. I want to talk about trust and peace of mind. We all need it, in particular in some areas, including your insurance. Maybe it's for your business, or maybe it's more traditional with your house and your car. For me, I have trusted Amber Scholl and Associates with American Family for, what are you guessing, 5 years, 10 years? No, my entire family, whether it's my father or my kids, with American Family, with Amber in particular, for 30 years. We dread something bad happening with our house, with a car accident, but we need people with expertise, with professionalism and availability, and that's what Amber and her team are all about. Reach out to them today. It's worth it. Trust me. 651-738-4811.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
That's my favorite thing to do.
It is one of my 2 or 3 favorite things to do, whether it's in the office, it's in town.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing better.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Senator Amy Klobuchar is going to join us in about an hour at 4:30, along with her running mate. They'll be talking, I don't know, have they done interviews since the DFL convention this weekend? I haven't seen or heard one, but maybe they did. Let's pretend we have the exclusive first interview. I don't know. Back in the TV days, if you had the only interview of the day, you'd say it was an exclusive. Right now, we're talking about mail-in voting. California, to me, is a train wreck, what we're seeing. And I worry that this is the next step for us. There's been this sort of zeal to expand voting, even though I have yet to see any data to indicate that all of these efforts to expand the voting day process really leads to many more people voting. Now, I also don't think it really leads to fraud, but I don't understand why we need to make all of this so complicated. I would like to get rid of mail-in voting. I would like to get rid of early voting. Allow absentee voting. Go back to you need an excuse. 651-461-9226. Texter saying absentee or early voting is essential for folks who head to warmer climate before Election Day. So I have mixed feelings on that. Part of me thinks don't go to a warmer climate before Election Day. Come back. You want to vote? Come back. You're out of here in the winter? Maybe you should get half a vote. I don't know. All right, maybe not. But I'm not incredibly sympathetic to that. Is that irrational by me? Sure it is. Sure it is. Let's go to Richard in Champlin. Richard, what would you do to make voting better? Now I'm sticking it to the snowbirds. I don't know what got into me today.
Well, Jason, how is having to work 3 jobs reason for having mail-in voting? And how about a national voting day that the Republicans have always been up against? And how about picking one of the days that we have a national holiday? Like, how about the guy that died trying to get voting rights for everybody? How about changing Martin Luther King Day into National Voting Day?
Oh, I like that, Richard. I like that. You're painting Republicans into a corner there, which naturally
they're bad.
You could do that to Democrats too. I would enjoy it either way.
Oh, can I do it?
Let's
do it. Show me an example of where Democrats are like that with.
We
voting.
can't. Yeah, not in that way. We absolutely can't. I just.
You cannot. You cannot.
I meant in general. If we could paint them.
Jason, how about the states where they shut down voting places and make them inaccessible to people?
Yeah.
And
there's
so many
pathetic.
Things
It's just you're losers, that not you, but the Republicans. And so instead of trying to win over more votes, you try to game the game. And I agree. Making a holiday works for me, Richard, and doing it on Martin Luther King Day, I think, is actually delicious. Kind of a nice idea. Dan and Hopkins, you're up. Dan?
Jason, great. I love what you had to say. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm one of many that believe there was massive voter fraud in our elections at the hands of the Democrats. They're excellent at cheating. They've mastered the art of cheating on Election Day. That's the only way they can win elections for the most part. And I think
Dan, do you really think that? Do you really
Yes,
think?
I really, really believe that.
Don't you think
If
there
you
are
were-
just more Democrats than Republicans in Minnesota? It's not really that difficult.
I don't really know. I mean, obviously, the population areas, the big cities, it's mostly Democrat.
Yeah, it's
But,
sort
I
of
mean,
a math
and if you-
thing. I think people are looking too hard for a conspiracy. Like and how do you justify like the races that Republicans won in? Like that's all. Like President Trump was closer than ever in this last presidential election than any Republican has been in decades in Minnesota. But so where's the fraud in that? I guess I just don't understand. It smells like sore loserism to me.
I understand, but then if there's no fraud, then they should have let the federal government examine the voter rolls. And Steve Simon refuses to let them see it.
Some
Somehow the government of
Republican
Minnesota-
states have refused to do that too, though, because more of privacy concerns and the separation of the feds and the state.
Well, why is it the state of Minnesota, being a government, has the right to see all of that stuff, but the federal government does not? It doesn't seem a little bit hypocritical. Yeah, we as a state will hold on to all your personal information, but we won't let it be verified.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
and
I tend to agree with you. I think like the voter roll thing is not that big of a deal, and I would have no problem with the state turning that information over. But come on, David in Excelsior. David, you're on
Hey, I
CCO.
called to say you're absolutely spot on. If you can't be bothered to vote, don't vote. I'll tell you where we go off the rails. People start with this idea that everybody should vote. I'm highly active politically, and I don't vote in some races. I don't know which judge to vote for.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do? Pick him because I'm voting for him because he's a man or because I like his last name? If you can't pass the test,
I usually vote for the
name
woman.
country-
That's what I do in that one, David.
So, it's not, everybody shouldn't vote. If you can't name the country to our north, it's okay not to vote. So
I could not agree with this
my-
more. This is one of my more unpopular opinions in really a buffet of unpopular positions that I hold. But
You're right on this.
Everybody
one. And I'll
doesn't
tell you
have
what else about the fraud.
everybody
There
doesn't
might-
have to vote.
There might be some fraud.
There for sure
our
is some fraud. There for sure. I don't want to diminish concerns about fraud.
And some elections are decided by small vote counts.
Yeah. Most are not,
And your Secretary
but
of State
yeah.
won't share the data. So anonymized data. Nobody's names. It's anonymized data. There's nothing
Well,
should be.
yeah.
Voting is a public act, and there's mistrust, and there shouldn't be.
Very
And
good. Very good. I think that is the bottom line. Now, I also understand this idea that some of this mistrust is bad faith mistrust. It's seeded mistrust by people who are losers. So I think there's some of that. Drive Time is streaming live on video where you'll have the opportunity to see what one of our commenters just asked about.
I was going to say, your concern has now been verified because you asked about this right before we went on the air. Dan, do I look like a referee? And I didn't see it because in person, it's blue stripes along with the white. But the lighting in the studio here makes it very much look like you're wearing a very, how do I say this, Bill Cosby-ish referee shirt. It's probably a bad link there.
Yeah,
but
let's not do that.
you know what I mean? Sort of the cardigan look,
I feel like this is like sort of resort looking, like it's a mesh kind of knitwear button up, but yeah, it looks like I need a whistle. I'm not, but you can check it out by watching our video stream on YouTube at the WCCO radio channel. This is a new shirt too, brand new. I asked my wife before I came in, I'm like, does this look all right? And I'm here to tell you, I don't feel like she gave the question much consideration. We're going to break in just a minute. The spring has been brutal. Spring has been brutal for airfare, gas prices, consolidation in the airline industry, the loss of Spirit. Are there any deals out there this summer? Kyle Potter from Thrifty Traveler, fresh off of a major national award that his outfit has won. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com. Where Minnesota checks in.
Well, here's my problem. I want to say a couple things. Thanks so much for taking the call.
And chimes in.
Right, I agree with you. Be careful what you ask for.
I don't usually 100% agree with you, but I do today.
It's your turn.
I'd like to know what it's costing to do this.
Add your voice to the mix.
I'm very jaded with all politicians in general. What an incredible failure of the legislature.
The CCO talk and text line, 651-461-9226.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRUSHA. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Problems are downtown Minneapolis, westbound 94 near Nicollet Avenue. Accident involving the rollover has the right 3 lanes shut down. Traffic down to the single lane packed and stacked as make way past Riverside. 35E northbound, some slowings, make way past 494, heading up toward the area of Highway 13 where we have a crash off to the right side. East 494 near Concord, right lane closed as crews do some cleanup of some oil that was spilled onto the highway. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Call Metro Heating and Cooling for a $109 air conditioner tune-up. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by Metro Heating and Cooling. Here is our chief meteorologist, Chris Schaefer.
Any shower or thunderstorm activity will clear by midnight. We'll fall back to 64. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 87 the afternoon high. The wind will be light, not humid. That'll be the last not humid day. It does get humid Sunday, partly cloudy with a high near 89. It's also going to be breezy with showers and thunderstorms popping late. That's going to spill into Monday. And check this out, by Wednesday and Thursday, our highs should be up in the 90s.
Too hot. It's too hot. It's 80, humid, cloudy on CCO.
Your daily detour into sharper conversation. Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
She knows what I think about, and what I think about. Just ask, you find out. Nothing that we don't want to tell you about, no, because it's too cold for you here.
All right, summertime is here, and I think a lot of us, if you're on the fence about booking a trip, you're a little worried about what's out there. I know most Minnesotans, when you're going on a trip over the summer, it's going to be a road trip. But there does come a point where the cost of gas makes you wonder, does it make more sense to get on an airplane? Kyle Potter is with us. He is with Thrifty Traveler. And Kyle is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Are you somewhere exciting, Kyle?
I am. I am in my sunroom in Minneapolis, a 6-minute drive from the airport for a flight that I may or may not be able to afford.
That is sort of the reality right now, isn't it? I am taking a trip to Chicago via air next weekend, and I would say it was about $100 more than it would have been last summer. What are we still in the throes of it because of this brutality we saw in the spring?
Yes and no. I think, and I really don't want to jinx it, but I think that the fever might be breaking. No question, there are still some obscenely expensive fares out there. And even for the ones that you can stomach, I do think your anecdote about seeming like it was up 100 from where it was this time last year is probably about right. Why I'm very cautiously optimistic is that just within, I would say, the last, 2 or 3 weeks, our team has been finding deals from Minneapolis, from other airports all across the country at better prices than what we've seen for really the last 2 or 3 months. So, Chicago was generally somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 round trip. We found plenty of flights for $197 nonstop round trip on Delta through the summer and into the fall.
It's good, yeah.
Same goes for DC and Orlando. Under $300 to get up to Canada this summer if you want to visit Banff. And then, under $400 to get all the way up to Anchorage. All of those were probably, again, in that neighborhood of $100, if not $200 or more expensive just a few weeks ago. So I'm not going to work really hard.
Is the fuel cost the biggest issue, or is it the loss of spirit and some of the consolidation we're seeing in the airline?
It depends where you're looking, but the elephant in the room really is the fuel. And, that's why I think things are trending in the right direction, is that the cost of jet fuel in particular has come down pretty steadily over time since, it really peaked in early April. And it's been on a steady decline ever since. So I think that's the biggest thing. But airlines are going to continue to charge as much as they possibly can. That's the whole name of the game. And so as those costs continue to come down, they just have a little bit less wiggle room to keep charging those higher fares.
Kyle Potter is with Thrifty Traveler at thriftytraveler.com. Here in the Twin Cities, the biggest airport story, besides like how awesome our airport is Sun Country. And the fact that Sun Country is, it's not exactly done, but it's close to done with that merger with Allegiant. We really don't know how that's going to shake out, do we?
Exactly. It is on paper, Sun Country really no longer exists. In practice, that airline, its planes, its crews, all of these things, the credit cards for people who have one of those, that's going to continue to exist for years to come. And so will most of the flights and probably even the service on board. It's going to take some time for, really these two airlines to become one, and for, the folks at headquarters for Allegiant out in Las Vegas, not on the airfield in Minneapolis, to decide what to do with Sun Country as it exists today. And they say that they're going to keep growing and keep things as they are, if not add even more. Time will tell.
Yeah, and some of the interviews I've read from Allegiant's chief executive is saying that one of the big attractive things for them is the fact that, they get this hub now in Minneapolis. But we both know that the way Sun Country operates is a little weird, right? I mean, you notice it if you try to book a flight out of Sun Country. The weirdness of it has also been key to its success, that the flights leave here in the morning and maybe come back and leave again, but they basically leave here in the morning and come back at the end of the day and then start the process over again. That's not what every airline is doing.
That's a good point. And it's also really important that while there are in some ways, they are very similar airlines, they are drastically different. And the biggest one is that Sun Country has a genuine hub in Minneapolis. And while that hub looks and operates a lot different than it does for Delta here out of Minneapolis, Allegiant doesn't really play the hub game at all. They make their money by flying between second and third and even fourth tier cities, where they can carve out a monopoly and not face competition from the likes of Delta and American and United. So the reason why I'm a little bit concerned about what this looks like years from now is I don't know that Allegiant is going to have the stomach to go head to head with Delta in the way that Sun Country has for the last few years.
Kyle Potter is with us. All right, Kyle, you guys have launched a podcast that just won a Shorty Award. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, what is a Shorty Award, and why did you win a Shorty Award?
You'd have to ask the judges. I don't know.
Is the show that good, Kyle? I've listened. I don't know. It deserves an award for sure.
Thank you, Jason. No, you know what? We've put a lot of time and thought and energy into doing something that is educational and helps people understand this crazy world where everybody wants to travel more, but the idea of trying to find a good deal or redeem your airline miles feels like the deck is stacked against you and it's borderline impossible. And so we're trying to do all of that in a way that really meets people where they're at. And people are increasingly trying to learn about these things or get caught up or just be entertained through podcasts or through radio or on YouTube. And so, it's been a ton of fun. And while I can't tell you for sure whether it's good or not, I'm really, really happy. I'm having a ton of fun. I know Gunnar, our host, is as well, as is the rest of the team that's working on this. And it's more fun than I've had in my 8 years doing all things Thrifty Traveler.
What are there certain areas that people are fascinated in or more likely to click on and listen? What does the air traveler want to know about?
I think the episodes that we've seen the most interest in are almost always what we call like an on-ramp episode. So we may have this tendency, for better or worse, to kind of go off on a tangent about the latest news in the airline industry, whether it's relevant to every single person or not. But we always do our best to do some kind of like broad explainer episode of the basics. And so we've done some basics about how do you actually find the cheapest flight deal every time, or what are, we had this episode called The 10 Commandments of Points and Miles, which was really just, again, back to basics of how this world works and what you need to know in order to level up if you want to. So those are the ones where we tend to see like the best response, the most downloads, all of those things that you want.
You used to be a boring journalist, and now you get to be a fun journalist. What?
I may still be boring doing fun things.
I mean, as part of the gig, what's the coolest trip that you've taken?
Oh man, before the pandemic, my coworker John actually runs and finds our premium flight deal service. So all the deals we find, he sends out. My coworker John and I did an around the world trip in 6 days, which I don't know if it's fun to most normal people, but it was really, really cool. And one of the top pinch me, I can't believe this is a piece of my job moments.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. You guys are doing a live podcast. We're talking with Kyle Potter, Thrifty Traveler. And this is, in the podcast world, these live events are so popular, which comes as zero surprise to Dan and me, because WCCO Radio live at the State Fair has been popular for generations. There's something that people want to experience in person, and there's a chance for people to be a part of that next Friday, right?
That's right. Yeah, we are taking over the Parkway Theater, which I just have to plug. It is one of my favorite places in the city. It is just a cool, historic theater with live music and shows and movies, and it turns out travel podcasts. We'll be there. Doors open at 6. Tickets are on sale at thriftytraveler.com/live. I think there's something special about connecting with people's voices. And that for radio, and we have learned that the last year through the podcast, that just encourages this sense of community that on the one hand is still surprising, at least to me. But on the other hand, it just says something that there is something special about this medium.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are fascinated with travel. It's something I always struggle with, like in my time as a TV anchor and now here in this show, because the reality is there are a huge number of people who fly, but when you look at the data, way more people never fly or go once a year on a plane in Minnesota, especially. And so it is an interesting thing where the people who fly, you have people in so many different categories, right? If you're a leisure traveler, if you're a big time, like corporate traveler, or maybe your leisure travel sends you into like big points, big credit card point, that kind of thing. You have sort of different buckets of people who are interested in what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it is important perspective that it is an absolute privilege to be able to travel for work, or just to be able to afford to and frequently, or even not so frequently, get on a plane. What we always try to do, we have this mantra in our office where we ask, what does Betty from Anoka care about? And that is kind of our North Star in making sure that no matter what we're talking about, whether it's the basics of how to go to Google Flights and search for flights from your home airport, to the absolute most nuanced, I'm going to transfer my Amex membership rewards points to book an ANA business class ticket. That there's a way to meet both ends of that spectrum while talking about the same thing. And that's what we try to do every day.
My wife and I argue all the time about this topic, Kyle, because I'm a member of your website. I'm a member of Thrifty Traveler. And so I do what you say. I go to Google Flights. That's how I always search. My wife goes to Kayak. Is she wrong? Please say yes.
You're just trying to get me to do your work for you here. It's what I'm hearing.
Correct. Yes, that's the whole point of having this show. That's exactly right.
This one time, Jason is right. You should be using Google Flights. It's the best site on the internet, period, for finding cheaper fares.
And people need to let go of this, like, oh, if you search on Tuesday or you are in incognito mode or whatever, are any of these urban legends true?
The latest one is that if you go to a public library and search for flights, you can find cheaper fares. And honest to God, Jason, I'm just going to have to go to my grave shouting from the rooftops and then from 6 feet under that none of this stuff matters. If you're trying to use this as a trick to find cheaper fares, go ahead. Please go to public libraries. They're awesome. Get your library card.
Yes.
But it is not helping you.
Sad. The good old days when you could be like, well, if you search on Sunday after 8 p.m., you have a good... Nope. It's just sort of a crapshoot, but Thrifty Traveler does a great job of helping you through it. If you want to check them out on the podcast, thriftytraveler.com/podcast. That information is there for you. But still some tickets available, too, if you want to go check them out live next Friday. Kyle, fun to talk to you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, fun as always, Jason.
There he is, Kyle Potter, thriftytraveler.com. We'll break in a minute. The reflecting pool controversy in Washington, D.C. My opinion of it may surprise you. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Pella Windows and Doors, fabulous company. Uber competitive industry, and they've been around for over 100 years. One house I lived in with Pella Windows and Doors, almost 20 years. And then when I moved, no doubt I was adding Pella Windows and Doors with PellaNorthland.com. They're fabulous. 3 showrooms, Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, and Woodbury. How about this June offer? 0% APR for 72 months or 20% off your Pella project. Go right now. Check them out. The best. PellaNorthland.com.
You know that feeling when your body is tired, but your brain just won't shut off? We've all been there. Jordana here. That's where CBN comes in. CBN, short for cannabinol, is a naturally occurring hemp cannabinoid known for its relaxing, sleepy effects. Think of it like the lights dimming signal for your brain. While CBD helps you stay calm, CBN helps your body know it's time to rest. That's why we call it CB Night Night. Mini Leaf Night and Night Plus Sleep Gummies combine CBN, CBD, and CBG to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, and then wake up feeling refreshed. Free shipping this month at minileaf.com, the home of Minnesota's best legal products. Go to minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com, and tell them Jordana sent you.
This summer, make the lake more than a place you visit. Make it where the kids learn to cast a line. where sunset cruises turn into family stories. Make this summer the one your family remembers with Bennington. Bennington is Minnesota's #1 selling pontoon brand. And right now, there's over 500 boats in stock at trusted dealerships across the state. Built for cruising, fishing, entertaining, skiing, and water sports, Bennington gives Minnesota families premium comfort, craftsmanship, and the kind of quality you can feel every time you step on board. New Bennington pontoons start at $29,999, and Tri-Tunes start at $49,999, with affordable monthly payment options and competitive financing available. During the month of June, mention this ad and receive $500 off your next Bennington purchase from participating Bennington dealers, including Frontier Marine, Hallberg Marine, Mankato Motorsports, Power Lodge, Miller Marine, Rays Marine, River Valley Marine, and Westries Marine of Wilmer. Bennington. Minnesota summer starts on the water.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Phone crash near Nicollet has been cleared. All lanes opened up. Still slow, though, as you come in from essentially Huron Boulevard. 435W to Minneapolis, that slows back at 46th Street. 394 eastbound, that's a jam up that starts at 100, continues to I-94. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
B&M Tree Services, certified arborists offering tree trimming, storm cleanup, and full tree removal with professional service at prices you can afford. Call 1-800-569-9034 or visit bnmtree.com. Trusted, professional, reliable.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by B&M Tree Service. We do have some heavy rain cells in the area. If you're headed up to a cabin right now in the Alexandria area, Sauk Center, Benson, Wadena, big rain there. Closer to the metro, heavy cell just to the north of Blaine and Lino Lake, kind of Andover, Champlin, north of 610 is where we're seeing rain right now. Those showers and storms will keep popping up throughout the night. Low of 64 tomorrow, sunny, 87. Sunday, humid, 89. The average high is 76. Remember average. Right now in downtown Minneapolis, it's 81 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
I think it's absolutely flawless. Whoever's idea was that is a genius.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I can feel something heavy on my heart. I can feel something's tearing me apart. I can feel that you got me through the dark. I can feel the love tonight. Oh, I can feel something heavy on my heart.
So, the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. I'm glad that President Trump decided to do something about it. I'm glad that we are trying to make our nation's monuments and our nation's parks look better. People come from all over the world to Washington, D.C. And it should look good. It should look good. So I, for one, am glad that the president painted this thing. Now, as always, the president is losing his mind over the news coverage about it. They're refilling it right now. He's like, it's not a paint job. This was industrial strength that could last. This is his truth. This was highly sophisticated material, industrial strength that could last for 100 years, applied by very talented people, many of whom came from the great state of Oklahoma, where I won 77 out of 77 counties, 3 times the only president to ever do so. The material is thick, strong, flexible. What even are we? Why does he have to turn something that is great, like repainting? This is great. Fixing it is great. Now, the president says that it only cost about $2 million. Records show it's about $15 million. Personally, I'm fine with spending $15 million on the reflecting pool of the Washington Monument. I don't think that's unreasonable. We should have beautiful national monuments and national parks. We should take care of them. We should keep people safe in them. This is only controversial to people who are crazy and can't ever give a win to the White House. There's nothing controversial about that. Now, if he puts his name on it, the Donald J. Trump Washington Monument, then I got a problem. But I've been there. The last time it was renovated was 2012. It draws water from the tidal basin that's sort of in that area. It doesn't use the drinking water of the city because, drought, blah, blah, blah. Now, can you say that the president maybe should have other things to worry about? Maybe.
I think your comments on all of this lead to one inescapable question, which is, how many counties in Oklahoma have you ever won, Jason DeRUSHA?
Right. Yeah. That's impressive track record. Continental Diamond has won 2 out of 2 people in this room. Go visit them at continentaldiamond.com. 358.
They may take our furniture, but we'll give them freedom. During Borofka's Memorial Day event through June 8th. Free Metro delivery with a furniture protection plan. Free, no interest, no down payment financing for up to 24 months. And up to $200 in free trade-in cash. It takes a brave heart to give folks all this freedom.
Oh, Jim. Borofka's. No gimmicks, haggling, or hard-to-understand pricing.
In Minnetonka, Woodbury, and Burnsville. Decidedly different.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Anywhere you are, everywhere it matters. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis St. Paul. Streaming live on the Free Odyssey app.
From ABC News. I'm Mike Dubusky. Bill Pulte, the incoming acting director of national intelligence, is facing new pressure to downsize the department he's set to run. President Trump telling reporters today that the number of employees at DNI has been way too high for way too long. ABC's Karen Travers is at the White House.
This says a lot about how President Trump views acting officials. When you put somebody in this role but don't intend to keep them there, the president then believes that they can do a lot of significant work in that short period of time.
Stocks slumped today to end the week. It comes as some financial leaders, including the head of the Dallas Fed, indicated that interest rates may go up this year. Meanwhile, a jobs report out this morning found that the economy added more than 170,000 jobs last month, nearly double expectations.
The narrative for the past year or so has been a cooling labor market, but the past 3 months could make a case that cooling has stopped. But while jobs are being added, we are still in a low hire, low fire environment. This is good news for workers with jobs, but reflects a tougher situation for job seekers. We are seeing job seekers struggling in long-term unemployment numbers. Those who have been out of work for 27 weeks or more rose to 27.5% in May, well above pre-pandemic norms. Taylor Dunn, ABC News,
New York.
An appeals court hearing arguments today as the president's lawyers look to move ahead with the White House Ballroom project. A lawsuit from historical preservationists had halted the project.
The government argues that the ballroom is necessary for national security, pointing to the drone port that the president says will be on the roof of the new ballroom, the bulletproof glass and the blast-proof columns. The appeals court panel that heard this today is comprised of appointees of Presidents Obama, Biden, and Trump. And it was really difficult to get a sense just listening to the questions for 2 hours over where this is going to land. But you can imagine that the losing side is probably going to take it to the Supreme Court.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 79 degrees at 4:02. I'm Laura Oakes. Flanked by green John Deere tractors, President Trump just hit the stage in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, where he'll be hosting a roundtable discussion with local farmers. We'll bring you some of his remarks at 5 o'clock. Minnesota roads, bridges, and public infrastructure projects are getting a $1.2 billion boost thanks to a big bonding bill signed by Governor Walz today. MnDOT Commissioner Nancy Daubenberger says in this climate, road maintenance is always at the top of the list. She says just since 2019, crews have patched more than 86,000 tons of potholes,
which is about a little over 17,000 elephants worth of pothole filling.
Minnesota ranks fourth in the country for the number of roadways and bridges, with 5% of the state's workforce in the construction industry. The Ramsey County Attorney's Office charging two recently arrested suspects in two separate homicides today. 26-year-old Michael Garland is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 27-year-old Adarius Gleese in downtown St. Paul in April. Gleese was in a relationship with a woman who had a child with Garland. Second-degree murder charges also filed today against 24-year-old Omar Castro in the stabbing of Gabriel Perez, whose body was found Memorial Day between some train tracks. Castro told investigators he was defending himself after Perez made unwanted sexual advances toward him. Longtime Republican former State Senator Dave Osmek says he's severing ties with the state Republican Party following last weekend's controversial convention in Duluth, which was marred by questions over electronic balloting. He tells WCCO's Adam and Jordana that his departure should be a wake-up call for both Republicans and Democrats.
For me to walk away says something very critical and important, that the system for statewide offices is broken. You may want to keep the endorsement system and the caucus system for the lower ballot for state reps and state senators. Even then, I'd sort of question it because there's some corruption there too.
Osmek says nominating conventions should no longer be held. The 59th Edina Art Fair is in full swing this afternoon. It runs through the weekend. Tim Fargo hit 15th in France a few hours ago.
People are happy here. People are in a creative mood. They're looking for items for their home and their business. And it's just a cool event for that reason.
There's also live music, food, and a Minnesota-made marketplace this year. AAA urging Minnesota parents to prioritize e-bike and e-scooter safety this summer.
The E-Ride Ready Safety Campaign is asking parents to educate their children on the rules of the road before they hop on an e-bike or e-scooter. AAA spokesperson Brenna Knapp.
You're going to be purchasing this for a child. That's great. They're fun. That gets kids excited about biking and being mobile in their communities. Just need to make sure that we know what speed can it go to, what class is the device, what's the power output of the device.
Minnesota's 2026 youth e-bike study shows cars still remain far more dangerous for teens than bikes, claiming 22 young lives in 2023 alone. The study also suggests e-vehicle crash risks are actually expected to drop as more people opt into the trend. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830, WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 4:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Eastbound 494 is making toward Concord. Right lane is closed with a cleanup crew in place. Getting ready to clear out some oil that was spilled onto the roadway. Could be later this evening before the highway, at least that right lane is reopened. And the ramps to and from Concord are currently closed as well. 35W northbound slows into downtown Minneapolis past 42nd Street. Up on the north side, get ready for your slowdowns on 694 eastbound past Silver Lake Road over to Dale. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn McCreevy invites you to a free seminar for pre-planning your funeral and cremation services to help protect your family in the future. Enjoy food, visit with speakers from the Nokomis Park Chapel, Wednesday, June 17th at 11:30 a.m. Information at washburnmccreevy.com or 612-377-7841.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Washburn McCreevy Funeral, Pre-Planning, and Cremation Services. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The rain and thunderstorms will be gone by midnight, leaving us partly cloudy with an overnight low of 64. Tomorrow looks like the nicer weekend day. Mostly sunny with a high of 87. Light wind, not humid. It does get humid on Sunday. The wind does pick up. It gets warmer, partly cloudy with a high near 89. Showers and thunderstorms possible late. That will spill into Monday.
We are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. Right now, it's mostly cloudy, 79 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
And we've got card DeSharks coming up in just a moment. So I need two contestants. Two contestants at 651-461-9226. The cards are dealt. I just need you for your chance to win $50 at Jester Concepts. 651-461-9226.
Ever have a brilliant thought right after the conversation moves on?
I can't believe I didn't think of this sooner.
The voice message feature on the Odyssey app is made for you. Click the microphone right by the Listen Live button and send us your thoughts on your time. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRUSHA. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRUSHA.
All right, it is Friday. It's Card DeSharks. We're so grateful to Jester Concepts for their support of our fun little Friday game show. Hard to believe we've been doing this for almost 4 years now since we started the show. We hit our 4 years in a couple weeks, I think. Crazy. Just crazy. It's too hot. I was going to spend today on a rooftop. At the end of the show, after we talk with Dan Hayes today, I want to know what you guys are doing this weekend. You've heard in the news from Laura, you've got Prince, you've got the art fair, there's the Grand Old Days in St. Paul, Grand Old Day. So much stuff going on. So what are you up to? We would love if you're listening on the Odyssey app. You can use the talkback feature. There's a microphone right next to where you listen live on the WCCO radio page. And if you use that, we'd love to know what you're up to. So you can send us those messages, and we'll put it on the air in our last segment. So you don't have to wait and call in. You can always send us a message using that feature. We have our contestants ready to go, and we also have our Card DeSharks poem as well from our friend Kristen Olson. So let's play America's fastest growing game. It's Card DeSharks. Both conventions concluded with little compunction. Just one absurd moment and a lot of dysfunction. Now forget the chaos and bask in the sun. Play Card DeSharks. Find a beach for the weekend's begun. On Card DeSharks. Thank you, Kristen. Excellent work. Brian is in Eden Prairie. Brian, we're glad to have you on the show. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm glad to be on the show.
You're playing for $50 at Jester Concepts. They've got a parlor and Revival and PS Steak where they just shared with me for Father's Day. They're doing you can buy this Father's Day gift box and it's all their steaks. It's like 4 or 5 steaks. So listen, I grilled up one of those steaks last night. It was fabulous. So pretty good stuff. So maybe you'll win that gift card and you can be off to go, right?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
How are you feeling about the heat? It's been hot here for about 2 weeks, Brian.
I welcome it. I like the heat and I enjoy the humidity for now.
All right. Dan has been noting that the humidity has really been messing with his hair. So he's pretty upset about that. Yeah, that's rough. All right, stand by, Brian.
Okay.
You are competing against Vikas in Maple Grove, a veteran contestant on Card DeSharks. Hi,
Yes, sir.
Vikas. How are you?
How are you? How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Hey, by the way, that was me that commented about your referee
Oh,
shirt.
it was you. It does. I asked Dan before the show because I was looking at it in the monitor, and I'm like, it looks a little. In person, you can see like the texture, but on the monitor, it's giving referee. And I was a high school basketball referee as a youngster in suburban Chicago. So
I mean, it's a nice shirt. Don't get me wrong. It's just
it's definitely ref vibes. I always worry about stripes. Not to turn this into fashion talk, but you worry that you're going to give like Where's Waldo vibes if you're wearing something too stripy. And
it makes you look slimmer, Jason.
Yes, I have the vertical stripes as opposed to the horizontal. I don't know. It's all a mess. All right, because how are things in Maple Grove, by the way?
Fantastic, especially since you left. I kid.
I'll be back there this weekend. So I like to keep people guessing. I went back this week to mow the lawn. I still got to get my dose of mowing the lawn. I haven't come to terms with paying somebody to do it for me.
I miss Jason the seeds.
The DeRUSHA seeds content. Yeah, sorry. Brian and Vikas, stand by. Make sure you guys turn down if you have a radio up or if your speaker on the speakerphone. We have a little echo going on with both of you guys, but here's how we play. We start with a survey of 100 folks, and Brian's going to go first. Brian will say higher or lower. And Brian will give a number between 1 and 100, and Vikas will say higher or lower, and whoever's right, we go to the board. So here's how we go. The question, this is interesting, Brian. We asked 100 bachelors, when you get married, will you expect your wife to work? How many bachelors said, yes, I do expect my wife to work?
That's an interesting question. Let's see. It's been a while since I was a bachelor, but I'm going to have to say, I'm going to go a higher number with 65.
65 says Brian. Vikas, what do you think?
That's the exact number I was thinking in my head too. I think about 2/3, but out of that, I'm going to go a smidge higher. We'll go higher.
Vikas says higher. It's a very interesting question. I have a good friend of mine who is going through sort of the dating experience as a guy, not like a 20-something. And he's talked about how like society seems to expect you to find a career person as opposed to finding someone who doesn't want to work. It's kind of interesting, like how we set up when you ask someone about someone they're dating, what do they do? You're like, it's sort of like it's baked in, kind of interesting. All right. Brian said 65. We don't need to turn this into a societal evaluation of gender roles and expectations. Brian says 65. Vikas says higher. The actual number is 73. It is a smidge higher. And Vikas, that means you get control of the board. Do you want the red or the blue cards?
Let's go red today.
All right. You can watch our game live on YouTube. Laura is swamped in the newsroom, so I am flipping the cards today. But you can watch on YouTube, on X at DeRUSHA, or where else are we, Dan? Facebook, the WCCO Radio Facebook page. Vikas, you said the red, and your opening card is a 2. Nice start.
Oh, wonderful. You flipped that like you flipped those donuts the other day. Let's go higher.
Higher than a 2. It is a 7. It is higher, and that's kind of a pesky little card there for you, Vikas. You can freeze on the 7 and preserve your progress, or you can roll the dice and go for it. What do you say?
So if I roll the dice and I get it wrong, I still keep that 2. Is that correct?
Yes.
No.
Yep, you keep the 2.
Right. Then let's roll and go higher.
Higher than a 7. It is going to be revealed in just a minute. Let's break. It's 4:15. We got Amy Klobuchar and her running mate coming up at 4:30. Card DeSharks just getting started. Back in a minute here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA, tuned up and rolling, thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
All right, you know when you're Jason here for Minnesota Pork. 3,000 family farmers every corner of the state. You know how I feel about Minnesota pork. I love it. We got pork chops on the agenda this weekend at the DeRUSHA house. I like to do my shopping ahead of time. Think about what we're going to have. I'm a planner. Sometimes, though, you just need inspiration now. You're like, I don't know. What am I going to do for dinner? TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com is such a great website because you can look for different recipes based on the way you're going to cook, based on the amount of time you have. How about Vietnamese grilled lemongrass pork chops this weekend? Doesn't that sound good? Or pork fajitas, pork nachos, like a charcuterie. Oh, that's a cool recipe. I'm looking at TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com right now, and what they're doing is they're taking a like 2.5 to 3 pound pork shoulder and just slow cook that bad boy and then tear it apart, and you got nachos. That's a cool idea. All sorts of inspiration because Minnesota's family farmers want you to celebrate Minnesota's history of agriculture. But more importantly, they want you to have a dang delicious, affordable, high-protein meal. Get to the website today, TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner sometime this weekend. Oh, yeah.
You know when your air conditioner chooses the hottest day of the year to quit? Yeah, that's exactly what a proper tune-up helps prevent. At Metro Heating and Cooling, our complete professional AC tune-up is just $109 because we do more than the bargain guys. We inspect the system, test performance, clean critical components, and catch small problems before they turn into expensive breakdowns. So before the heat really hits, protect your comfort, your wallet, and your family. Call 214-304-7658 now and schedule your 109 AC tune-up with Metro Heating and Cooling. Done right the first time, so you stay cool all summer long.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRUSHA. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Where curiosity hits the gas. Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, a reminder, the Twins are on Apple TV tonight. So if you don't have Apple TV, great night to just kind of fire up the radio. Listen to the game right here on WCCO, the radio home of the Twins. You can catch it in FM as well, 102.9 FM simulcast. And we're always at 102.9 FM HD2 for you HD radio owners. A lot of people don't realize that you could, man, this show sounds so much better in HD, doesn't it? The takes are still as kind of analog and AM as expected, but the sound quality, much better. We're in the middle of Card DeSharks. We are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. We've got two great contestants standing by, Brian in Eden Prairie, Vikas in Maple Grove. And Vikas, on this 7, the dramatic pause during the break here. I have no idea. I haven't checked if it's higher or lower. You called what on the 7?
I'm going to go higher with the 7.
All right. Vikas said higher. It is lower. It's a 3. Oh, all that weight, and it was lower. All right, Brian, you get a free shot at this. Your blue card, you start with a king. Nice.
Okay, I was gonna ask how high it went up. So I'm guessing ace is high.
You got it. Ace is high.
Okay. All right. Well, I have to go lower.
Lower than a king. It is a 7. It is lower. And these 7s in the 2 slot for both of you guys. Now you can freeze on the 7, or you can roll the dice and go higher or lower. What do you say, Brian?
I'm not here to roll. I'm not here to freeze. Let's go higher.
I like it. I'm not here to freeze. That's famous last words in this game, though. Let's see. High. You say higher than a 7?
Yeah.
It's a 5.
Oh, come on, man.
That 7's been tough. That's been tough. And we'll reload for both of you. Dan's going to come over and do that. It's hard to do this as a 2-person game. On the TV, they have like these fetching models, like a guy. I think they have a guy now. Are
you saying I'm not fetching?
Well, I didn't mean to. I mean, Dan needs a little tighter of a shirt if he's going to pull off fetching model in the background. All right, we've got the cards filled in. Vikas, this question goes to you. We asked 100 first graders, do you have a secret hiding place that even your parents don't know about? How many first graders say, oh, yeah, I have a secret hiding place that even my parents don't know about?
Well, they may think their parents don't know about it, but I'm sure the parents do.
Exactly.
We'll go 56.
56, says Vikas. Brian, what do you think?
I think that number's got to be super high. Let's go higher.
Brian says higher. The actual number of first graders who say they have a secret hiding place that even their parents don't know about is 84. It is much higher. I think a lot of misplaced confidence by those first graders. I don't know if they're out smarting their parents quite yet, but pretty funny. Brian, you get control of the board. You're still on that king, so you're in good shape here. Higher or lower than a king?
No, I got to go lower again.
Right, lower than a king it is. It's a 6. And that's
not much better.
Not a great. I know we're getting all these middle of the road cards, but what do you want to do on that 6? Higher or lower?
What happened? Oh, I'm not here to freeze. I was going to ask what happens if I freeze, but let's go higher.
That's right. If you freeze, you protect that 6. So if you make a screw up going forward, you can't lose the 6. So
I'm holding the king then. Yeah, let's go higher.
All right. So higher than a 6, it is a 3. Oh my goodness. These cards are rough. Vikas, you're on a deuce. So good news for you. Higher or lower than the 2?
Well, I'm going to go higher than a 2. Unless it's a 2, it should be okay.
It is a 9. It is higher. And another middle card for you, Vikas. What do you want to do with it?
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Let's go lower this time. Everyone seems to go higher. Maybe we can offset the card too.
All right, lower than a 9. It is a 5. It is lower. And now it's just 2 cards separating you and victory. You're on this 5. Higher or lower, or do you want to freeze?
No, let's go for it. I know you got a show you got to finish up here. Let's go higher than a 5.
Higher than a 5. It is an ace. It is higher. And oh my, Brian, it's not looking good for you because unless it's another ace, you're Brian's cooked.
Well, yeah, let's go lower than that ace.
Lower than an ace for the $50 Jester Concepts gift card that you can use at PS Steak or Butcher and the Boar. Butcher and the Boar would be fun for Father's Day. It is a deuce. It's a 2.
How about that?
And you...
Those are rough cards. Sorry, Brian.
No, it's all good. Experience wins, I guess.
Brian, I'm so glad you called and glad you played. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good day, guys.
All right. There goes Brian. Vikash, you're a winner. Congratulations.
Thanks much.
All right. Dan will get you that gift card. Dan will get your information, and we'll put you on hold, and we appreciate that. Very, very good. All right. It's 4:26. Senator Amy Klobuchar is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. She, she just announced less than a week ago her running mate, the former mayor of Fergus Falls, Minnesota. So we're going to have both of them on via telephone because the senator was in Washington, D.C., voting on funding for ICE until like
5 this morning. I think they finally passed that bill. So
she has been voting. She will join us via telephone.
Might be the best interview with her ever. We don't know. It depends on how much sleep she's got.
That's true. Could be very truthful. A little sleep deprived.
A little punchy.
If you have questions that you want asked, text in 651-461-9226. It's Friday. It's drive time on CCM.
Drive time with DeRUSHA is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com. Every day, your ears put up with a lot. Give them something they'll actually enjoy. News that matters. Conversations worth hearing. News Talk 830 WCCO. Your ears deserve better.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah. And now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news. Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613. Exclusions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So when do you need to start thinking about a will? Find out at GutmanLaw.com. What is a living trust, and do you need this? Find out at GutmanLaw.com. What about a power of attorney or probate? We'll get all the answers to your questions when you schedule a free attorney consultation at, GutmanLaw.com. It's Jordana, and I didn't know the first thing about wills, living trusts, estate planning, but I didn't need to. All I did was reach out to my friend Matt Gutman and his partner Jamie Ref Wagner. This is their focus: wills, trust, probate plans. Now knowing that my loved ones will be taken care of no matter what helps me sleep at night. Don't wait until it's too late to get these things taken care of. You can schedule a free, no-hassle consultation right on the website. Say it with me, GutmanLaw.com. GutmanLaw.com, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow. It's not just a slogan. I sleep better at night now that I have my estate plan in place. Thanks to Matt Gutman and Jamie.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slow ride in place, West 94, Carmichael Road to St. Croix River Bridge, driving north 35E. Got your slowdowns in place there as you come up from basically the area of Highway 62 heading up into downtown St. Paul. East 36 got your slowdowns, Cleveland Avenue over to Lexington. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, CCO forecast time. It's hot, and we've got some storms in the area, too. Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Any shower or thunderstorm activity will clear by midnight. We'll fall back to 64. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 87 the afternoon high. The wind will be light, not humid. That'll be the last not humid day. It does get humid Sunday. Partly cloudy with a high near 89. It's also going to be breezy with showers and thunderstorms popping late. That's going to spill into Monday. And check this out, by Wednesday and Thursday, our highs should be up in the 90s.
Looking at live radar right now, it looks like the storms are approaching the St. Cloud area, Little Falls, Brainerd to Big South, Sauk Center. In the metro area, it really looks like Red Wing, Ellsworth, Hastings getting wet, and some big cells, big downpours, but nothing severe in the metro. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch until about 10 o'clock tonight. It's 80 degrees in St. Paul on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
He's known for the slow burn. He wanted to keep it organic, and I'm still begging for it. More controversy.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Can you blow my mind? Set up my whole body. If I give you my time.
All right, it's been a big week for political conversations on this show. Earlier this week, we had Lisa Damath. Kendall Qualls was on with Chad. We had Republican Adam Schwarzy on earlier this week. And right now, we have the DFL endorsed candidate for governor, Senator Amy Klobuchar, and her running mate, the former mayor of Fergus Falls, who has been Shire. And so they are both joining us together on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker hotline. And I think we have them with us right now. Ben's there. Ben, you're on time. Klobuchar, well, you're early, so we salute you, Ben. Welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be with you.
Ben is the former mayor of Fergus Falls, and we'll talk with the senator in just a minute. But Ben, I want to ask you right off the bat, I think as we see a lieutenant governor running for U.S. Senate, we see the current lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, would have been in line to be the governor. I think there is an awareness today that this is maybe a more important role than just a ceremonial role. When you look at your background, Ben, how do you see yourself doing something significant other than just the, showing up at events and things?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. I'm first of all, incredibly excited for the opportunity. I think that the Senator Klobuchar has laid out a transformative vision for what she believes Minnesota can be, right? It's a bold vision, and she's demonstrated that she's committed to showing up everywhere, to make sure that vision is enacted. And so for me, being from Western Minnesota, I think I'm going to bring something a little different, quite honestly. The fact that she values my experience as a small town mayor from Western Minnesota, the fact that she values, my experience as a small business owner, well, it means a lot to me personally, but it also, I think, tells you a lot about how she plans to govern this state. So, I think that just showing up, listening, and being all across the state and bring the ideas of the entire state, it's really important if we're going to achieve that vision that she's laid out. And I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of it.
Senator Amy Klobuchar with us now as well. And Senator, let me ask you.
Hey, Jason.
Good to visit with you. I know it was an early morning voting in Washington, D.C.
You mean 5 a.m, but I got on the 6 a.m. Delta just to come back to talk to you. No, it's all good.
And I'm glad you got to talk to Ben for a little bit there.
Let me ask you, because at the convention, at the DFL convention this last weekend, a 26-year-old Kobe Lane, who was a Republican 4 years ago, never been elected to anything, she still got 28% of the vote. Do you have a problem in the progressive section of the DFL? Are you concerned about that?
Conventions are conventions, Jason. People have debates about issues. That's important. And you're going to have people emerge that run. And that's part of our democracy. And I stood there, I made my pitch, and the point was that I got endorsed on the first ballot, and I'm uniting our party. That's what I've always done. And I think what matters to people, even if you disagree with them on some things, whether they're different parts of the Democratic Party or moderate Republicans, independents, is that you want to get stuff done. That's what we need right now. People are so tired of this fighting, and they want to bring down the cost of housing and childcare, and they want to be able to do something when it comes to being able to afford their health care. And finally, in Minnesota, they want to root out this fraud. I mean, they're tired of this, and I think we should have a government that can carry its weight and match the drive and ambition of the people of this country. That's why I picked Ben for lieutenant governor, because he's someone that started 2 businesses in a small town. And when he was told it was a dying town, he said, no, I'm going to make it better. I'm not going to wait around and serve out my term. I'm going to make it better. And that's what I want to do as your governor.
Fraud is the number one issue that when we asked earlier this week, what is your top issue in Minnesota? Affordability is major. Fraud was the number one thing we heard from people. You've been talking about it a lot. When did you first know that, I think the state of Minnesota may have a fraud problem?
I found out about it like a lot of people did when the cases started getting out in the news. And I will say before that time, though, I wanted to put in a U.S. attorney, and this is during the last Biden administration, and even before that, I wanted to put in strong U.S. attorneys. I figured that's my job. And my job was to put in someone like Andy Lugar. I insisted he get in there. He's the one that exposed the cases. He's the one that brought the cases. And then he even asked me to call the Justice Department, the highest department in the land, and say, we need more resources in Minnesota. This is really bad. I did that, called the top echelons of that department, got the money, and he'll tell you I'm the only senator in the country that did that. And because of that, he was able to bring over 90 cases. And of course, that's now being carried on by this administration. But I do believe rooting that out from the beginning is part of it. What's just as important is making sure this never happens again. And that's in my plan. Vetting when people apply for grants and making sure that they never get a grant again if they get in trouble, putting them on a list so everyone knows. Doing actual in-person audits instead of this Zoom idea. What you mean? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. They should get surprise audits so you can figure out what's going on. And then you make sure that the resources are going to the people that need them. And I'm glad the legislature did some bipartisan work this time, increasing the criminal penalties and making sure that we've got in place at least the beginning of updating this computer system that's 40 years old, and they're using flashing cursors from the days of Oregon Trail.
But do you think you could have spoken out earlier? You know, obviously, Governor Walz was still the candidate. When he was the candidate, I believe you endorsed him. I don't remember you making a strong statement from the federal side or of concern about fraud until you officially started running.
Well, my record speaks for itself. As a prosecutor, I expanded white-collar crime, took on big fraud cases, and the governor said himself that he should have caught it earlier, and he should have. And he, when I am the governor, I'm going to do a top-to-bottom audit from the very beginning and make serious changes. And so the way I handled this was the minute I heard about these cases, I asked Andy Lugar, I called him, what do you need? How can we do this? And made sure they had the resources to not just bring the cases they had, but expand and investigate more. And I continue to do that with this administration.
We're talking to Senator Amy Klobuchar, who is the DFL endorsed candidate for governor in Minnesota, and her running mate, Ben Shire, who is the former mayor of Fergus Falls. Ben, do you see a role for you in fighting fraud? I mean, we've had conversations The senator has laid out some plans. Some plans are ideas from Republicans, some are ideas from Democrats. But do you see yourself as like, I mean, are you going to be the fraud czar? What is the lieutenant governor role here?
Well, listen, I think Senator Klobuchar has laid out a pretty detailed plan how she intends to fight fraud. Here's the thing. As you may know, Jason, I've been spending the last 8 months running for state auditor, right? I've been pretty clear that we can do things better at the local level. I have 16 years experience at the local level. I'm really looking forward to working with Senator Klobuchar to talk about some of those ideas of how we can help local governments make sure that not only fight fraud, but just create efficiencies, right? Local property taxes are at a breaking point in a lot of communities. So I think at local level, it's not so much about fraud, although we're going to stop it if it's there, but it's about creating efficiencies. And I'm looking forward to working with the senator on that.
Senator, my biggest concern for Minnesota is how do we grow? How do we get more businesses? I think we have this idea that, somehow money is going to magically appear to support the fact that everything costs more. Of course, government is going to cost more. Unless we grow, to me, we have to cut. So what is the plan to get businesses to locate here, to get jobs here? How do we get Minnesota growing again?
Yeah, that is my number one focus. And in fact, before you asked the question, I was going to, interrupt Ben there and add to that. I just think that our future has got to be growth. We cannot rest on our laurels. We did give the world everything from the pacemaker to the Post-it note. We're known as a state of innovation. We've got these incredible Fortune 500 companies, and just as importantly, tens of thousands of small businesses all over our state. It's half our businesses.
But what do we do? Do we lower taxes? Do we change regulation?
Right. First of all, having talked to CEOs of companies of all sizes, number one, we need to change some of the rules of the road here. It shouldn't take so long to get a permit to build things. If Domino's can give your money back if you don't get your permit, then we should be doing the same in state government. And some other states have tried this and it's worked. So let's change the rules. I am not interested in having a focus on raising taxes. I know we have a progressive tax system. I think that's important. What I want to do is see how we can make government work better so we can add businesses and we can make sure that we can carry our own weight. And that's the top to bottom audit is not just about fraud. It's also about looking, are there things that aren't working that we shouldn't be doing anymore? And what can we do to work? And that's why I'm going to be very focused on those kinds of reforms. One of the reasons I picked Ben and that I'm going to pick a cabinet that's focused on growth and reform. And I just can't tell you the number of ideas I've already gotten that I think, we can do this. We can do better. We got to meet the times, making sure our education system matches the jobs, not of yesterday, but of today and tomorrow. And so that our students are getting educated and we once again become a place where kids not only want to stay here and go into these incredible businesses and start them themselves, but also bring in people from other states that want to work here as well.
Amy Klobuchar with us and Ben Shire. Senator, where are you on the feds suing Minnesota on the transgender athlete and high school sports policy?
I trust the sports leagues in Minnesota to make decisions about their athletes, but we should not lose sight of what matters most, and that is ensuring that every child in the state has access to a world-class education. That's where I'm going to be. And, the administration, it's not just on this, has been suing Minnesota, stopping energy grants that were just about adding more energy to the grid. They weren't some left-wing conspiracy. It was actually major companies that want to improve our energy grid. They stopped that. They stopped some of our ag grants. I had to get involved in making sure that we got the funding we needed for an oat facility down in southern Minnesota, along with Congressman Finstad. So my point is that
on the athletes issue, I mean, are you just going to defer to the leagues, or do you believe that transgender girls should be able to play in girls' sports? What do you believe on that issue?
I truly believe that our sports league should be able to make these kinds of decisions. I do. And that is, they're going to be able to know the kids that they're dealing with, the leagues that they're dealing with. And I have seen Minnesota as actually a leader in sports. Look how many athletes we had in the Olympics while still having policies that in some leagues have allowed these kids to play in the leagues. That's how it is. And I just don't see this as the issue. What I see as the issue is ensuring that the kids in the state are going to get the education that they need.
I think our time is up, but I can't wait to visit more with both of you as we get moving on in the convention, in the campaign. I'm glad the conventions are over. And I'm sure you guys are. Yes, I'm not.
We had fun. We did end up at Ben's son plays in a band, and we were there at 2 a.m. at a bar in Rochester. So that was the beginning of the campaign.
That sounds pretty good.
There you go.
That sounds good. Ben Shire and Amy Klobuchar, we appreciate the time. Thank you both.
Thank you
so much.
All right. You can react. People were texting in as we went. 763. What's our number, Dan? 651. I almost gave you guys my phone number. I do not want you to text me. I'll tell you that much. 651-461-9226. Drive time back in a minute.
Drive time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
So you're thinking about moving, but don't want everyone to know just yet. When you work with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, you can sell your home privately, even selling off market. You'll get top dollar with the Good Neighbor Agent's vast network and database of thousands of buyers, or list the traditional way and get the most money possible with his marketing. Curious what your home is worth? Learn in seconds. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Jammed up as you come in from Pilot Knob Road, heading over to Plain Avenue, where the right lane is closed as crews continue the cleanup of an oil spill earlier yesterday. And traffic remains tight through that stretch. Work will continue till into this evening. West 94 is jammed up, Carmichael Road to St. Croix River Bridge, 35E northbound, watching slowdowns there as you come over from Highway 62. We're pretty much into St. Paul. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
We got a show and it's guys and dolls at Chanhassen and Dinner Theaters, and it's a knockout. The Pioneer Press called it a must-see. Star Tribune called it blazing with brilliance. You got gamblers, romance, and show-stopping tunes. Guys and dolls, visit ChanhassenDT.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, the must-see show Guys and Dolls on stage right now at ChanhassenDT.com. I'm looking at live radar, and we have rain to the east and rain to the west. If you are in the Glenwood, Little Falls, St. Cloud area, Sauk Center, you're getting massively rained on right now. In the immediate metro area, almost nothing. Little tiny cell with very light rain in the Circle Pines, Blaine area. Otherwise, nothing. It's going to be one of those nights, though. You can feel the humidity out there. The sun is out as well, and that could be cooking things up. The low will be 64. Now, over the next couple of days, it's going to be hot. Very hot. 87, sunny tomorrow. 89, and Sunday, humid. 89 and humid on Sunday. It's going to be smoking hot at the Edina Art Fair, where it is currently 80 degrees on CCO.
The ride home deserves better conversation. Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm picking out this dress, trying on these shoes, because I'll be...
All right, we just talked with Senator Amy Klobuchar. We only got 10 minutes, and we also had the lieutenant governor candidate in there, Ben Shire. So a little shorter than sometimes we get with some of the other candidates. But let's go to you. Paul in Minneapolis wanted to react. He's at 651-461-9226. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I just want to say I've been a Democrat forever, and I just have a tough time that Amy won't make a stance in things like this transgender athlete thing that I just don't think they should compete in women's sports. And I just think she should make a stance and say what it is that it should be and quit trying to be nice to everybody. And let's start saying the right thing so you keep Democrats and you don't have people thinking let's I'm going to better things to Republicans. So that's just what I got to say.
What do you think her answer should be? What would your answer be, Paul?
I don't think they should compete in girls sports. I think they have an advantage, even if it's 1/100th of 1%, it's an advantage. And I don't think that it should be right that they should compete.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good.
And I think, Paul, like, we've sort of allowed this relatively minor part of the issue, obscure the fact that, like, we need to make sure that all people are taken care of and not discriminated against when you're looking for jobs, when you're looking for housing, when you're looking for a loan. But nobody has like a God-given right to take part in gendered competitive high school sports competition. I just think,
I agree.
I think there are other ways we can make sure to protect rights and still lead with love and take care of people, but also be realistic about the fact that we have these sports separated into genders for a reason.
Right. And everybody going for a job or this, the best person should get the job. You shouldn't put someone in there because they're this minority, that minority. Everybody just get the best person in the job. And let's start doing the right thing as Democrats. And let's keep the Democrats a Democrat.
Thanks, Paul. I do think that the Democrats don't agree with Paul. So you can understand politically why Senator Klobuchar is saying, well, I think the high school sports league should decide. Well, it's kind of a BS answer, right? Because the state then can decide, do we want to defend this policy? And the sports league is saying, well, we're carrying out the policy of the state. So it's a bit of a circular scenario. Now, is this the most important issue in the state? You decide what's important to you. But I do think it is part of the challenge, both for Democrats and Republicans today. If you're a Democrat, we also didn't get, a real direct answer as to whether there's a problem with progressives in Senator Klobuchar. I think progressives or the leftists or the DSA aligned Minneapolis and St. Paul people are very skeptical of Senator Klobuchar. And I think if I have one thing to do over again, I would have asked one more time about that, because it's not just about the fact that someone ran in the convention and got 30%. But if you're freaking Senator Klobuchar and some rando 26-year-old who worked for a Republican in the Minnesota House 4 years ago gets almost 30% of the vote against you, like, you have a progressive problem, or you have a problem with some of the activists. And part of winning, it is the strategic question that, I'll be honest, I don't have a good answer on. Is the best way to run for office to try to appeal to the middle, or is that a losing game where you're never really going to peel off, no matter how much people swear they're independent? Most people are Republicans or Democrats, and you're never going to peel off those Republicans to vote for Amy Klobuchar. So what you really need to do is get the leftists and get the socialists on board and get them excited to come and vote. Sort of the lesson of Kamala Harris is the fact that she did not excite the leftists. It's tricky. Let's go to Milt in Minneapolis. Milt, you're on CCO. What do you want to say?
Hey, I'm a military veteran, 73 years old. I was a corpsman with the Marines.
Thank you for your service.
I just want to say I just got done watching Minnesota Mao today. And if anybody thinks that they want to be a Democrat after watching that, I used to be a Democrat before I went in the military, but I was at a base that was the Pentagon of the Pacific, Camp H.M. Smith, and I learned a lot of stuff. And this particular, I know it's Liz Collins and it's probably, the Alpha News thing, but this will totally take you to another level on what you're thinking for voting.
Thanks, Milt. Appreciate it. I've seen the preview of it enough to know that I don't care to watch it. Seems to focus on Tim Walz's time in China when he was young, and I don't care. There's enough to deal with today than to whip up all this. Oh my gosh. Now, do I think the Democrats are having an existential crisis? Are we the old school idea of Democrats, or are we going to be socialists? Yeah. That is the question. Marty's in Albert Lee. Marty, thanks for calling in. What do you want to say about Amy Klobuchar's interview?
You bet, Jason. I just got to say for the last caller, that fall of Minneapolis, you're right on that. It's just propaganda, and it's a bunch of BS. I choked my way through watching it, and it's all lies. But the problem with Klobuchar, for me personally, goes back to when her and Walz were superdelegates and refused to cast their vote for Bernie Sanders, who won Minnesota. Always been what they call democratic.
Marty's call is breaking up, but his thesis is something a lot of progressives have, that Klobuchar is closer to the Republicans than the Democrats. I think that's a question that she's going to have to convince progressives of if she wants to win. Continental Diamond time check is 458.
96%. That's how many of Minnesota's 24,000 corn farms are family-owned and operated. They aren't big, faceless corporations, but moms and dads, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Together they innovate, implement new technologies, and steward our natural resources, all to ensure that we have a safe, healthy food and fuel supply and provide for future generations. 96%. That's Minnesota family corn farming. That's your Minnesota corn farmer. Learn more at mncorn.org.
Homes aren't one size fits all, so why should your home insurance be any different? Farmers Home Insurance Packages offer coverage options you can tailor to fit you. Discover straightforward home coverage options and more by calling Farmers Agent Brad Sanford at 651-690-2076. That's Brad Sanford at 651-690-2076.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Minnesota's source for news, weather, traffic, talk, and Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO. KMNB HD2, Minneapolis-St. Paul.
From ABC News. I'm Mike Dubusky. President Trump says the soon-to-be acting director of national intelligence, Bill Pulte, should cut positions at the country's spy agencies. ABC's Karen Travers.
He made it clear that this really is an acting role for Bill Pulte as the director of national intelligence, that he will be serving in this capacity for a period of time, but that he is already talking to people to fill that role permanently. The president says he has 5 interviews set up with people to potentially be the next director of national intelligence. He didn't get specific on who he is talking to, but he said they're all very good, people you know very well, and people that do that kind of thing, and he called them respected people.
The president also reacting to today's better than expected jobs report.
So we had incredible job numbers today. You saw that. And we have good everything, good numbers, but the job numbers just came out and they were fantastic.
More on those numbers from ABC's Sherry Preston.
Another strong jobs report, this one for the month of May. Analysts have been expecting about 80,000 jobs to have been added to the U.S. economy last month. Instead, they added a solid 172,000, showing resilience despite rising costs from the war. Revised numbers for March and April also show even more hiring than had been reported. The unemployment rate remains unchanged at 4.3%, where it's been for most of the year.
In Aurora, Colorado, there is an outcry over an appeals court decision to reverse the homicide convictions of 2 paramedics who had been charged in connection with the death of Elijah McClain. Median Schaffner is with the advocacy group Epitome of Black Excellence and Partnership.
You can put it in whatever words you need to. We know that the Colorado Appellate Court just simply moved the goalposts. That's all they did.
You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, 83 degrees at 5:02. I'm Laura Oakes. President Trump hitting the stage in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin this afternoon, where he hosted a roundtable discussion with local farmers. He told the audience the war in Iran is all but wrapped up.
This was going to be a very capable country that was going to have a massive nuclear presence, and we weren't going to let that happen. Nobody wanted that to happen. And we've largely finished that, you'll see.
The president's visit is one of a series of stops to promote his agenda leading up to the midterm elections. Flanked by transportation, labor, and other state officials, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has signed a major bonding bill to fund $1.2 billion worth of road and public infrastructure projects. President of the Minnesota Building and Construction Trades Council, Dan McConnell, says being able to rely on state funding each year provides stability and predictability for hardworking families.
Contractors make hiring decisions based on future work. Apprentices commit to years to learning the trade because they believe opportunities will be there in the future. Workers buy homes, raise families, and build their lives around the expectation the next job will be there when the current one has been finished.
$180 million of that package will go toward road projects. Minnesota has the 4th highest number of roads and bridges in the country behind California, Texas, and Illinois. One of the biggest conventions of the summer kicking off this weekend in downtown Minneapolis.
This is the voice of labor all throughout this country, and there will even be some international folks here too. So these are, leaders and members of labor unions across all sectors.
Minnesota AFL-CIO President Bernie Burnham says the union's 30th annual constitutional convention couldn't come at a better time as the Twin Cities continues to recover from Operation Metro Surge. She says support for unions is strong right now, despite what she calls the anti-union and anti-immigrant sentiment within the federal government. It is a busy weekend for Prince music, art fairs, and a St. Paul staple.
With 250,000 people expected to attend this one-day event, it begs the question, why is Grand Old Day so grand? Co-chair Elizabeth Emerson George.
I do really think it's just that sense of community. There's a little bit of something for everyone along the avenue, whether it's music, whether it's kids' bouncy houses, or of course the ever popular wiener dog races. There just to be something for everyone and a chance to explore all that St. Paul has to offer.
Take note, there will be something new this year.
One thing that I think will bring even more joy this year, right here near Red Balloon, we will have neighborly notes. This is a new addition to Grand Old Day where neighbors can stop, write a love note to another neighbor, and something that will then be giving back to the community all year long.
And who doesn't like receiving a love letter? Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 5:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
East 494 is jammed up Delaware Avenue, heading over toward the lane closure at Blaine Avenue, where the right lane is closed. They're doing some Cleanup work from a spill earlier yesterday. 94 westbound's jammed up through Hudson, Wisconsin, coming down from Carmichael Road, West 694. That's a jam up that starts in the area of Silver Lake Road. 35W northbound near County Road H. Crashed off to the right side. Should clear shortly, but in the meantime, it is slow through the stretch. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The rain and thunderstorms will be gone by midnight, leaving us partly cloudy with an overnight low of 64. Tomorrow looks like the nicer weekend day. Mostly sunny with a high of 87. Light wind, not humid. It does get humid on Sunday. The wind does pick up. It gets warmer, partly cloudy with a high near 89. Showers and thunderstorms possible late. That will spill into Monday.
Partly cloudy, beautiful right now, 83 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCL.
Your social feed may show you what you like. We tell you what you need. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA, fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Once again, here's Jason DeRUSHA.
I was just at Luther Kia Bloomington last night. They let me check out a new hybrid SUV. So we're going to see it. Like, I've been curious. Like, when you drive these hybrids, how much better are they for your mileage?
Now shut up and drive.
You know, you look at, like, if it's 5 miles to the gallon more, does that excite you? Does that get you going? I don't know. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason, Dan with you here as we walk you up to Twins baseball tonight.
Sort of. To Henry Lake, who then will walk you up.
Henry
to
has to do it. Oh, it's a 7:15 tonight.
So it's a 6:30 pregame, so Henry will be on.
Is that just
6:30.
Fridays?
Yes.
Or is that because it's an Apple TV game?
Well, I think the 15 is because it's Friday. Otherwise, it would usually be like a 7:10. But yeah, no, Fridays they do the later starts.
And is it because Friday is like the party night, or why?
I think they found that they had more success on other weeknights with the 6:40 starts because you were dealing with kids maybe still being in school and stuff like that. You know, it makes it easier for parents with bedtimes.
That makes sense.
Friday night, obviously, maybe you're not so much worried about that. Plus, if they do fireworks, they're usually on Fridays, so you want to push the game a little later, make sure that sun is down when you do the fireworks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We have a fireworks night in 2 weeks, I think.
By we, you mean whom?
The Twins.
Okay.
I mean, you and me.
Well, I mean, I know.
Are we launching fireworks?
Look, you're the king of St. Paul. I don't know what you're doing over there.
You never know. I would not be opposed to Can I get a permit for this? If
anybody could.
I feel like I could probably get a fireworks permit.
Why not?
Do it right in Rice Park.
Can you get up to the rooftop of the palatial mansion there and launch them right off the roof?
I don't know. I think the highest up I've been in our building has been the 18th floor.
Well, it's all the more reason for you to try.
I should try it. Have you ever, like, you're in how many stories on your apartment?
7 floors in my apartment.
Have you ever been on the roof?
I have not.
Is there an accessible roof?
There actually is. I know there is because
think for your like astronomy stuff.
Well, don't think I haven't thought about asking. The problem is that the door that you can see out of that goes to the accessible roof area, there's no railing or anything on the roof. So I can't fathom that they would allow me out there with the astronomy equipment, which would be perfect because that area that I'm thinking about faces east, which is what I can't see from my particular apartment balcony area. So I would love to be able to do that.
How are you on heights? Are you all right?
I'm okay. Again, if I have a railing, I can look over that railing and I feel just fine.
Yeah.
But if it's just a ledge and there's no railing there and I look over, that's when I get the vertigo.
Are you guys afraid of heights? 651-461-9226. My fears, when I think of fears, like I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of snakes. Although I sort of tackled that fear back on my mid-morning days, that 9 o'clock show. Like somebody brought in like a giant snake, and I'm like, you know what? Today I'm getting over it. And I put the snake around me, kind of Britney Spears music video style, and it was fine. I wasn't afraid. Now, I am afraid of owls. I'm afraid of owls. Have you ever had an owl look you dead in the soul?
I can tell you an owl story.
You have an owl story?
I have an owl story.
Wonderful.
So again, at the apartment that I'm in now, west facing exposure, little balcony with the railing there. So when I'm sitting in my couch watching TV, the balcony door is to my right.
Okay.
And I'm watching TV one night, and you know how off the periphery vision, you sort of will notice motion sometimes, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So I noticed there was some motion out there, and I turned and I looked out the window, and it was nothing but dark. I couldn't see anything until these pair of glowing yellow eyes turned and looked dead into my soul. And I went, whoa, and then waited a few seconds, and then the thing spread its wings and took off again. And it was, of course, it looks 8 feet long wingspan when it takes off, but I'm sure it wasn't, but it looked huge.
Owls are horrifying to me.
I think they're fascinating creatures.
Yeah, wow.
Friend of mine is a bird photographer and really, really specializes in trying to get all the different species of owls. And some of her pictures are just amazing.
Well, but look, this is owl propaganda. Owls have these hauntingly beautiful photos. What owls do is they get their most enchanting looking birds, and they come out and pose for photos. And then people are like, owls. Or they think owls are wise. Oh, they're wise. They're brilliant. But then you get a run-of-the-mill owl looking you dead in the soul. That owl would claw your eyes out and eat them. They don't care. Owls don't care. They will kill you. The talons on owls, nightmare fuel for me. So I believe owls put the equivalent of their Sydney Sweeney out for the photographers. And so you get beauty out there, and you're lulled into a sort of level of comfort which owls don't deserve.
Owls want nothing to do with you whatsoever. They're looking for field mice. They're looking for small game. They want nothing to do with you.
Until they do. Until they change their mind.
You know what bird you should be terrified of?
Big?
Canadian geese.
Canadian geese.
Because they don't care. They will walk right in front of a 2-ton vehicle, and they do not give a you-know-what.
Pete's in Northeast Minneapolis. Pete, where are you on heights? Any fear?
I was raised by grandfathers and a father to go up ladders, fix stuff, clean gutters, repair the dormers, no problem. I went to work for the gas company. I crawled up frosty roofs on the second floor, above the second floor, to pull the chimney liner. And I had to grab a hold of the shingles on my way down. However, as soon as I hit 50 years of age, I'm afraid of heights. I'd go out over my sleeping porch to clean the gutters, and I cling to that roof like it was my last grasp. And I'm telling you, I just came back from my neighbor, and I went up a ladder to clean his gutters. And I'll leave you with this. When I see an ad, Jeep or somebody else, Chevy,
right?
When they show them parking on the precipice of a cliff, I repel. I got to close my eyes. And when I see a helicopter go over a cliff or a drone, I repel. There is something to that craziness about being afraid of heights. But I think it's more than that. I think it's falling to your finish.
I think you're right.
I'll leave you with that.
Thanks, Pete. Thank you.
See, I don't even think it's the falling.
You're
it's the sudden
afraid.
stop at the end of the falling. That's where I have trouble.
It's the thump.
It's
the falling is fine.
Falling would be, look, people jump out of perfectly good airplanes because
Yeah.
they enjoy the sensation of falling. It's not the falling, it's the way you finish.
Like for me, I rappelled off the side of the Ecolab building in St. Paul a number of years ago.
Surprising number of people say that you're repellent.
At this point, how does this show not have a rim shot sound effect ready for that sort of material? So the scary part for me was the first step. And then it was nothing. You were like, this was great. I'm hanging off the side of a building, no problem. But I get a little afraid of heights. I have fallen off a ladder. I fell off a ladder into a tree once. The tree trimming with the particular implement I was using was perhaps I should have called B&M Tree Service instead of trying to do that myself. This texter says, speaking of heights, I knew a guy who fell off a 30-foot ladder and didn't get hurt, which is pretty amazing, but it turned out he was on the first rung. So is this what we're doing? It's just Shecky Green kind of material that we...
It's Friday, man.
I know. I have other topics, but, I'm just curious what you guys are scared of. The only time I was scared of heights, says the texture, was in the Metrodome. That ledge was scary. Yeah. Old Comiskey Park, now it's Rate Field. When they redid it, the upper deck was all we could afford to sit in growing up.
Hold on a second. Now, is this iteration of Comiskey or the previous iteration of Comiskey?
So the original
Comiskey,
the
original
was
Comiskey.
fine.
Okay.
And then
new Comiskey, which is now Rate Field.
But
this is the one.
New Comiskey, the slope, the pitch was so severe on the upper deck that they actually had to tear down the upper deck and rebuild it because it was so horrifying for people. Yeah. Now, here at Texter, we're getting some bird talk as well. Texter says we saw a great horned owl take down a large rabbit in our driveway. Now, this is interesting because this is making me reconsider my stance on owls.
See?
Because I hate rabbits. The wascally sons of... So I hate rabbits because they eat... they were eating all my produce in the garden, and they're eating our plants. And rabbits do... there's a lot of cliches about rabbits, and it's true. You see one rabbit in your neighborhood, then all of a sudden you see 100. You're like, prolific. They're prolific.
Getting after it.
So if owls could maybe make a dent in the rabbit population, and then we get an expert. This is the beauty of CCO radio, because of course you have someone who knows what they're talking about, who responds to the boobs here who don't know what we're talking about. I rescue raptors for the Raptor Center, and owls are the mildest of raptors to work with. Most will click when being captured because they're scared and stressed of people. Now, being the nicest raptor is sort of like being the, like the smartest politician, isn't it? I mean, is that kind of a, I don't know. Well, if you want to keep going on things you're afraid of, keep it coming. 651-461-9226. Drive time back on a Friday in a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Can I be honest? I was actually a little afraid the very first time I went for a full body skin checkup at Terrene Dermatology. It's Jason here. I'm a very typical guy when it comes to going to the doctor. I'm a firm believer in a little something I call waiting it out. Whatever the problem is, let's see if it goes away. Terrene Dermatology and Dr. Mohiba Terrene told me to stop being an idiot and start coming in for a full body skin checkup. I was talking with Dr. Terrene. She knew that my dad had a history of skin cancer, and skin cancer is more hereditary than most people believe. So that first time I went, for the moment you walk into a Terrene Dermatology clinic, there are 11 of them. I went the one in Roseville, but they make you feel so comfortable. Everybody's so nice. From the second you get in that room, it's like, yep, I'm in good hands. And that's proven by the fact that dermatologists and PAs and skincare experts from around the country want to work for Dr. Mohiba Terrene. You can book an appointment right now. You should. Don't be dumb guy waiting for that mark or mole or bump or something that concerns you on your skin to go away. Terrene is Tareen, dermatology.com. You can request an appointment at any of their 11 locations right from that website, and new patients, they're seeing you within 3 weeks at Terrene Dermatology.
Dave Lee for Aquarius Home Services. We all know that home ownership can be a bit like a reality show. Your house loves drama. One day the AC simply quits. The dripping faucet keeps you up all night, or the light switch never turns off no matter which way you flip it. But Aquarius Home Services takes the drama away. Their trusted HVAC techs, plumbers, and electricians bring the calm back with $98 off any repair. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Jason DeRUSHA.
You can't have people telling you 24/7 that you're great. You need people around you to say, hey, that's a bad idea.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, we got Dan Hayes coming up in just a couple of minutes. Twins game is on Apple TV tonight. This drives me nuts. Now I have Apple TV, so it's fine, but it's like, I don't know. You just never know what anything is on. It just is always I feel like such an old man complaining about this.
I mean, there are clouds if you want to shake your fist at them.
Let's take Jeff on things you're afraid of, and then I want to yell at the city of Minneapolis for screwing up George Floyd Square over the last 4 years. Jeff?
Listening to your conversation about heights and falling, I was overcome with poor judgment.
Uh-oh.
But there was a construction worker that was fell off the top of an 8-story building they were building. And as he passed each floor and way down, his coworkers heard him yell, "So far, so good."
Nothing? Dan's giving you nothing? That's rough. It's a rough crowd. It's a rough crowd, Jeff. It's rough.
I just couldn't help myself.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. All right. Let's talk about Minneapolis and let's talk about George Floyd Square. Because I think a lot of us have been focused on the fact that the city of Minneapolis has been so slow at getting something going at 38th and Chicago. And yes, on the surface, it is unconscionable that we've allowed bickering and political arguments to delay a return to some sort of normalcy for people who have businesses at that corridor, for people who live in that neighborhood. It's essentially been an autonomous zone taken over by activists. And so over this last couple of weeks, we've seen the long-term damage that happens when the city allows activists to take over public land. You may have read that the city council, that a committee rejected the mayor's preferred developer for a new apartment/retail building on that gas station. You know, the gas station, which now they call like the People's, whatever. It's the old gas station. The city had two choices. of quote-unquote developers to work with. One was a nonprofit that barely had any money. Another was the nonprofit Violence Interrupter Group. Both of these groups said they were going to get like real developers to work with them. But in the testimony to the city planners said like, well, no developer wants to touch this because they're worried that the activists will really take over whatever happens in that neighborhood. We screwed this up so badly. And it's such an injustice to the people who live in that area, who work in that area. It's so disrespectful to people who should have had clarity earlier. Can you imagine living in that corridor? And you've got this sort of burned out, torn down, half torn down gas station. You've got the big fist in the middle of a roundabout, sort of. How have, part of me, I can ask this question and I'm going to answer it. How have we allowed this to become such a trash heap for so long? And I think for me, the lesson is that we must be stronger in the initial moments after a crisis like this. And I know that it is uncomfortable to see people getting forcefully cleared out, because that's what would have happened, right? If the city decided to take this area over again. But don't you think how different things would be today if the city had just moved those people out and said, we're not letting you take over this intersection. We're not cutting off buses. We're not cutting off police. And with that expectation, I do think there needs to be some consideration, and I hope we're game planning for this, because this will happen again at some point. But do you, as a city, have to find a way more quickly to give people a space to mourn if something happens somewhere? At a certain point, I'll say as a citizen, it's like, I'm sick and tired of like the loudest voices just taking over whatever they want to take over. And think of this scenario. The city bought this gas station because the people had taken it over. And now nobody wants to build there. Of course nobody wants to build there. Would you put a dime in over there? Hell no. 0 developers have stepped up in a city where we know there's a need for more housing in these neighborhoods, but nobody wants to set up there. We cannot allow the loudest voices to run the show. And the problem is when you elect people who are afraid to take on those loud voices, well, then you get this. We just had, how many years of indecision? And the fact that what kind of tribute is this to what happened? And I know that a lot of our conservative audience, whenever you say George Floyd Square, people lose their mind. How dare we memorialize this druggie? To you, I would say, get over it. It's not about memorializing the worst parts of George Floyd's life. It is about recognizing that something internationally significant happened at that spot. But we have failed even that mission, because here we are in 2026. We don't have a damn developer who wants to build it over there. And now we're back at what? What? I'd say knock it down and build a park or something. But you're still going to have the People's Republic of whatever taking over this land. It's just so disappointing and so disrespectful. We're going to be back with Dan Hayes. Twins baseball. It's been an interesting week for the Twins. Not a great showing last night. They had a couple good games against the White Sox at Target Field. Twins night, or Prince night. At least they have Prince night last night. Drive time back in just a minute.
Drive time with DeRUSHA is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Audion Hearing.
Early OpenAI employees received a massive windfall. The Wall Street Journal reports that OpenAI allowed employees to sell up to $30 million worth of the company's stock in a recent financing, with more than 600 current and former OpenAI employees selling a combined $6.6 billion worth of OpenAI stock. The Journal says 75 OpenAI employees sold the full $30 million worth of stock. I'm Jason Brooks.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Yep, he's planning another project. So this Father's Day at Lowe's, tap into free gifts for Dad. Get a free Select Craftsman power tool when you buy a Craftsman V20 charger with 2 amp-hour and 4 amp-hour batteries. Plus, get a free DeWalt power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt Max XR 4 amp-hour battery kit. Dad knows our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/14 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It's Chris Lindahl. And here's what Rose and Dan told us after saying yes to a guaranteed cash offer on their house, getting a big red check and a fresh start in life.
Oh my God. It made the last month or so incredibly easy.
It's simplified, drastically simplified. One check and walk away and we're done.
In a risky and uncertain market, be a certified smart seller like Rose and Dan. Apply for your guaranteed cash offer today at chrislindahl.com.
You'll buy a house today.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRUSHA. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
East 94 is making toward 494. Got an accident off the left side. Might be a couple of different crashes working. In the meantime, everything is off to the left shoulder. Traffic remains tight. Those midway past Weaver Lake Road. Driving 494 eastbound, continuing finding slowdowns in place. There's midway past Highway 52, heading over toward Concord Avenue, where the right lane does remain closed. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
An air conditioner at Metro Heating and Cooling is, on average, only $5,400 installed. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Metro Heating and Cooling bringing us the forecast. It's sunny out right now. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Any shower or thunderstorm activity will clear by midnight. We'll fall back to 64. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 87 the afternoon high. The wind will be light, not humid. That'll be the last not humid day. It does get humid Sunday. Partly cloudy with a high near 89. It's also going to be breezy with showers and thunderstorms popping late. That's going to spill into Monday. And check this out, by Wednesday and Thursday, our highs should be up in the 90s.
Live radar right now showing storm activity just to the northwest of St. Cloud, Sauk Center. Little bit of a cell near St. Michael and Elk River, but nothing in the metro area. Maybe we'll stay dry, or maybe it'll come later tonight. We'll see. Right now in downtown Minneapolis, it is 81 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
I feel like you're wasting my time talking about something that I wasn't a part of. It's like the most intellectually bankrupt. This is just terrible.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
The Dan Hayes walk-up song. Dan Hayes is with us from The Athletic and the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Dan, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm off today for the first time in 12 days.
I was going to say, I feel like you have been cranking out, I'd say cranking out quality, but like it's all, most of it is quality. I don't want to get carried away.
I would say like average content.
Is it harder to come up with stuff when the team is struggling, or is it harder? Like what's the best scenario? Obviously you want them to win, but just from a content standpoint, what's the best for you?
Just chaos isn't terrible. I mean, look, winning is number one because fans love it. Chaos is number two because just being in the middle is boring. You know what I mean? Like, just don't give me pure boring. And like, I actually think that right now is pretty fascinating time, especially with the Royce Lewis stuff. You know, I wrote about him 2 days in a row. You know, and I think I even put a tidbit in on a third day today. But I mean, that's the topic to me.
It is the topic for sure.
It is. It's the guy. He can be the guy, and he's been just playing incredible at AAA, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, and there's so much to get into about it, so why not? You know, from what position are the Twins going to put him at when he comes back? Is this tear? Did he change something, or is it just a straight up confidence situation? Like, let's start with like the mechanics, but like his tear. It's just how many 8 homers in 11
8
games?
homers in 12 games.
12
and
games, just crazy.
And 4 doubles too. And I mean, they're not like cheapies. They're all hard too. It's crazy. I think with the swing, I think that he took some time in that, you know, he got optioned on the 19th of May. And I think what happened is that before he reported on the 21st, he definitely talked to people in his camp. The Boris Corp would definitely have played a role. I haven't talked to Royce, but this is what I've heard through the grapevine is that they gave him some ideas on what he was doing best when he was, you know, going really well. And it's like, hey, let's do this again. Because the thing is you start in one place and then you make an adjustment somewhere because it helps you fix some of the things you were doing wrong, right? But then you get further and further away from yourself and you add on stuff. But the truth is that these guys are always their best coaches. They know it feels the best. And so getting back to doing what he was doing best at the time when he, 2023, 2024, that's the smartest play. And like, if you go back to that base, as long as you physically can do it, then why not start there and then adjust as you go? And I think that's what we're going to see from him is he found a place of comfort and he's working from that. And man, it's pretty incredible right now.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and it's easy to dismiss and say like, well, he's hitting against not ready for prime time pitching, but, and that may be true. Right. But
no, there could be some truth to that for sure, but he wasn't hitting hittable pitches that were mistakes before. And the thing is no matter how good, there's some amazing pitchers that never make mistakes, but most pitchers make mistakes and you get a chance here or there. And maybe it's one pitch a game, who knows? But Royce Lewis was missing those wildly and just had no confidence. So the fact that he's hitting the hittable pitches and just crushing them, this is a great place to start. This is what you want. You sent him to figure out if he could do this again. He is proving he can do this again. And so then you bring him to the majors eventually and you let him do the work there. But it's not starting from this terrible position of no confidence and feeling lost and not sure, not believing in what you're doing, all that stuff. And that's where he was. And this reset was really important.
Dan Hayes is with us. There is some question as to where he'll play position-wise, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't even think it's certain that Brooks Lee is no longer the shortstop. Look, the defense at shortstop has gotten worse. And granted, they've played 14 straight games. So, but the last 4 days at home, they've had 5 shortstop errors. And this was supposed to be guys who were better than Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee doesn't get to a ton of stuff, but Brooks Lee had 2 errors at shortstop before he was removed. So could he go back to being shortstop? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what they think the best version of them is. I don't know what, it all is something that's so fluid. But what I like is that they're at least preparing Royce Lewis for the chance that, hey, if Brooks Lee is at third base, we need to get you in the lineup somewhere else. And so we're going to look at you at second. We're going to look at you at first. There's been a little bit of work at first this week. He got to start there last night. He got to start at second base 2 days ago. And I think if he moves off third, I think he'd like to be a second baseman. But we shall see on all of it. It really is just going to depend on where the Twins are when they decide to bring him back up.
The Twins have been on a bad stretch here. They're 3-7 over their last 10 games. We were so close to 500. We were above 500. We were tasting it. And now it's, they've had some injury issues as well. But I guess I still feel with this team that I just don't know. Like if we get some of the younger pitchers back, you wonder, okay, like could we be in business? I don't know.
They need to figure it out right now, and it's tough because this is the 15th straight game today. But you're playing Kansas City, then you play Detroit. Both teams are worse than Twins. They're awful. If you could somehow come out of this with, 4 wins out of 6 games, you're feeling better about yourself. And you look at getting maybe Kendry Rojas back soon enough, and maybe Mick Abel soon, and then if you add Royce in and Royce is performing, this offense has been pretty solid so far, but putting a consistent bat in the middle of the lineup would be huge. The Twins are getting a ton of production from the bottom of their lineup, but they wouldn't be upset if Royce Lewis came back and was hitting. That's what they know that they're best when he's there. So I don't know. It's hard to say. This is we've talked about it all year, and it continues to be true. So many things need to go right for this team to be good. So far, that hasn't been the case. It hasn't happened that way. But they've also hung around at least and made it interesting. What you can't do is fall off right here, especially with some really beatable teams in front of you. You need to play better and take advantage of your schedule and get yourself back to within a couple of games of the 500 mark.
Dan Hayes is with us from The Athletic. And you wrote a bit about Mick Abel throwing some live BP yesterday, so that's good news. Let me ask you about attendance. And I wonder if you've had conversations with anybody over at the team because, we are starting to get into – we've had great weather. It's been beautiful. And it's been – you've had the attendance that maybe you would expect of a team that's, struggling. A team that's
it's not down as bad as I thought it would be. They're down from last year. The pace is down. They are getting to their busier time without question, but it's lagging a little bit. It's not as big of a lag as I think that we would have thought.
Because that was the question, right? Are the fans really punishing and sticking it to the poll ads for not selling the team? And so the only way you could really tell is like, all right, how much down are they compared to where they were last year at this point?
And I would say that I think that the Twins were maybe helping out their early numbers by giving a lot of tickets away, and that stuff counts. And sure. I would say the numbers that are printed are not accurate as far as butts in seats. You know, I mean,
which has always been true, but
correct. But I you know, I mean, there's been some rough games out there.
Yes, no doubt.
And I do think the fans are doing some punishing, because I can see it on my own numbers, my own metrics for my stories, that people are not paying as much attention to those wins. And so, I mean, yeah, I think there's some accuracy to that. This team needs to, the off season to be there so they can spend and do what they say they're going to do, because the fans aren't going to come back unless they see the proof. You know, the proof is in the pudding. Well, that's only going to come if you see spending. Fans are angry. They have a right to be, and it's understandable. And, you know, the one part that I've liked with the way Tom Pollard has handled all this is just coming out right away and saying, we made some serious mistakes. We made some missteps along the way, and the fans are reacting to that. And so he seems to recognize it and know that he needs to move things in the different direction and get fans back by spending. The unfortunate part is they were mad fans going into the season, and the Twins are going to be in a spot, most likely, it would seem like, in my, you know, if I had a crystal ball, I'd think they're going to be most likely in the position in 7 weeks where they have to trade Joe Ryan. And how much is that going to anger the fan base? You know, Joe Ryan is having an outstanding season, and it's unfortunate, but Joe Ryan's going to want to hit free agency, and this is the optimal time to cash in. So how much does that anger the fans more?
We know.
It's going to be tough, man.
Dan, you mentioned off season, and you mentioned spending, and of course that leads into a discussion of the fact that, you know, both sides now, the Major League Baseball offices and the Players Union, have offered new CBA ideas that are wildly disparate. And the conventional wisdom is that there will be a lockout here at the end of the year. And who knows if or how much baseball we are going to miss in 2027. Has there been any discussion amongst the Twins, either front office or amongst the players? Are you hearing any discussion of that, or is that still kind of out of their mind while the season's going on?
Yeah, I think it's out of their mind while the season's going on. I mean, I do know that, you know, they're not going to allow the lockout to hinder what they do at the deadline one way or the other, that kind of thing. But, you know, that's something that comes down the road. And I don't know. I'm on the side of optimism. I mean, we might miss some spring training time, but Rob Manfred is getting near the end of his career. And Rob Manfred has, you can argue all you want if you like the changes baseball's made the last couple of years, the pitch clock, instant replay, the ghost runner at second base, all that stuff. Whether or not you like it, hey, that's neither here nor there. But baseball's definitely seen an uptick in its popularity the last couple of years. And I think if you're a fan, faster games is the way to go, right? So Rob Manfred, even as much as he has been strange for the sport, calling the championship trophy a couple of years a hunk, like I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, he called it a hunk of metal, you know, the World Series championship trophy. Missteps aside, I think he's a pretty popular, he's going to end up looking like a good commissioner in the end of things. And he does not want to lock out. He absolutely does not want a labor stoppage getting in the way of his, you know, if he retires in 2 years and they miss a full year, he's going to look like the worst commissioner. He doesn't want that. Yeah. And him having influence will, I think, prevent us from missing games next year. I think there will be as close to a full season. We might miss some spring training, but, you know, who knows? It's early on, there's been some good talking between the sides, at least, and it feels like it's more active at this point than it was going into 2022. So I'm optimistic.
Thanks, Dan. Dan Hayes with The Athletic. Have a good weekend. Appreciate it.
You too, guys. Thanks. All right.
All right. 3 against the Royals, including tonight's 7:15 first pitch, and then 3 against the Tigers. So here we go. Get to Target Field this weekend. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. Why not? Go have some fun. We're going to have some fun. I want to know what you're up to this weekend. It's been a news story quite a bit today. All the stuff that's going on in the Twin Cities this weekend. Tell me what you're doing. Are you doing the Prince Block Party? Are you doing the Edina Art Fair? Or are you doing St. Paul's Grand Old Day? Drive time back in just a bit.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Canopy! The Canopy Group. We love the Canopy Group. It's Jason here with some hot insurance talk for you. That's right. Who likes insurance? Who doesn't? Nobody likes paying the insurance premium. Nobody likes doing comparison shopping for insurance, that's for sure. But you know who does it? The Canopy Group. They do it for you. They have 16 different insurance companies. That's the difference. Right now, you probably have one insurance agent with one company, and that's maybe all right. But part of the magic of the Canopy Group is when you reach out at thecanopygroup.com or you make a call, 800-967-3389. They're going to find out what you're paying right now, what your coverage is. And maybe after they run your scenario through 16 different companies, maybe you're already getting the best deal possible. And if so, they'll say, you know what? You're good. But odds are good that they can improve your coverage and improve your cost. For me, I got better coverage and saved $820 my first year. And the Canopy Group runs this check year after year, so you never have to stress about it. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to you? Get to thecanopygroup.com.
The secret to enjoying your commute? Forgetting it's a commute. Yeah, you could focus on all the brake lights and lane closures and cone zones, or take the scenic route. For your brain, take it from us. Traffic's easier when the radio's better. News Talk 830 WCCO, the official cure for the common commute.
Here we observe the suburban homeowner beginning his morning shower. Calm, unaware, completely unprepared. The hot water has vanished. Notice how he reaches blindly for the towel, questioning every decision that brought him here.
If your plumbing goes sideways, call Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. If you need it today, we're on our way.
He retreats, confused, shampooed, changed forever.
For plumbing help when you need it, visit callapollo.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. What if everything you learned in history class was only half the story? I'm Dr. Hrini Bhatt, host of Hidden History. Every Monday, I go where history gets mysterious. Vanished civilizations, doomsday prophecies, paranormal phenomena, and events that science still can't fully explain. On Hidden History, I treat these moments like open case files. Not myths, not superstition, just incomplete explanations waiting for a closer look. Listen to and follow Hidden History, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are jammed up 94 westbound, County Road 81, heading up into Rogers as midway past 101. 94 westbound, still slow, Carmichael Road to St. Croix River. 494 eastbound, that's a slow ride continuing right now between Delaware and Concord. Joey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
I don't know. It's a little too hot. It's a little too hot. It just is. Do you need 90 on Sunday? Does anybody really need that? I say no. Tonight, we're keeping our eyes open for the chance of severe thunderstorms. We have a watch in effect in the metro area until 11 o'clock tonight. Looking at live radar, nothing here in the Twin Cities metro area. St. Cloud is getting wet. There's a heavy cell approaching Monticello. Low will be 64. It'll be out of here by midnight, which will be great for me ripping it up on the streets of Minneapolis around 1 a.m. Tomorrow, 87. Sunday, 89. Right now, it's 81 at Target Field on CCO.
Steering you through what matters. Drive time with DeRUSHA. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
This weekend has so much going on. It's kind of fun. I like this time of year where it's like festival after festival, all sorts of stuff going on. I have a newsletter I send out every week. And this week I moved the DeRUSHA approved weekend fun section up because there's so much going on. So you have the Prince 10-year celebration of life. The concert tonight at the Armory, I bet is going to be good. Although the review, did you read John, I think it was Bream's review of Shaka Khan last night?
Neither that review or the Pioneer Press review was very kind to that particular performance. So,
you know, not everybody's in their prime.
Right.
I'm glad that those reviewers tell it like it is, though.
That's true.
Although, sort of, what's the point? I mean, this is maybe a conversation for the other day, for another day. But like,
or the other day.
If a concert sucks, well, what's the point of saying it sucked? Like, I can't decide to not go to it now. It's over.
No, but the people that didn't go to it feel better about not having gone.
I suppose.
That's what it is.
Edina Art Fair, super fun. There's a rodeo, a real-life outdoor rodeo at Surly Brewing tomorrow. Which
Pretty sure that's where Henry Lake will be.
Yeah. Train days at Union Depot? That sounds more up your alley, Dan. You going to train days?
I'm strongly considering it.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm going to a bar mitzvah tomorrow. How about that? That's going to be very exciting.
It's my parents' wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Wow. Well, happy anniversary to them.
Yeah.
As a kid, do you have to celebrate your parents' wedding?
I mean, I at least acknowledge it. You know, you send them a text.
That's enough. That's it. Continental Diamond time check, 5:57.
Losing a loved one is difficult enough as